can't believe I'm regretting not watching more isekai anime. How the heck do I get back to the real world? Oh.
From the sky on a black glider wing, one red eye glowing where the future stings. Manhattan's a cage by the wire and rust, 24 hours ticking in presidential dust. The Duke owns the streets with a chandelier crown. I walk through the madhouse wearing midnight's frown. John Sims stalk behind me like wolves made of chrome. Every heartbeat a countdown, no way back home. I told the president, call me Snake, and shot up the world for freedom's sake. Cotton John, ice and gun, four dark rides beneath the dying sun. From glacier to ghetto, from storm to the sea, we carved out myth in minor key. Outlaws forever, no parole, no plan, just the growl of the engine and the blood on the hand. Antarctica bled where the ice split wide. Something ancient woke up and crawled inside. Mac ready with flamethrower, beard full of frost. Trust is a match, at every friend is a cause. Morricone's baseline throb like a chest burster's heart. Simple for no terror, tearing the world apart. We burn what we love just to stay alive. In a blizzard of paranoia, only the fire survive. I blew the whole station, lit the long polar night. Nobody wins when the thing learns to fight. I rode into Chinatown hauling pork and pride. Jack Burton talking big with a knife in my side. Low pan laughed and thunder, green lightning in his veins. Three storms spinning death on the Wing Kong exchange. John Sims went full dragon, taco drums under neon rain. I drove the pork chop express straight through hell's membrane. Saved the girl with green eyes, blew the ancient curse wide. Still the hero of nothing, just along for the ride. 10 years later, they sent me back to the coast. LA's an island now, drowning in ghosts. Surfboard through the tsunami, sunset turned to flood. Utopia's a lie, and the lie tastes like blood. Same patch, same smirk, same 45s in my hands. John Score went sub-bass till the continent cracked. I hit the
Comics Strip is name and derivative.
I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, wait. Stan Lee!
Creator of Marvel Comics?
Greetings, true believers.
Oh. Ooh, my heart is pounding like Thor's hammer on Dr. Doom's titanium-infused faceplate.
Hey, aren't you the guy who was stalking Linda Carter?
The term is courting. The restraining order says no, no, but her eyes say yes, yes.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? You want to see me do it again?
If I can't have freedom, nobody will.
Kurt and John, Ice and Gun, Snake and Mac, Greedy Jack, Bird and Gone.
From Prison Island to the end of the world, we lit the last match and watched it curl. So pour black coffee for the man with one eye, for the beard full of fire, for the trucker who lied. When the tape stops rolling and the screen finally dies, so still hit her edges cutting holes in the sky. Call me Snake. Call me nothing. The real's over, man. Game over.
Name's Pliskin.
Hey, I have something extra for you.
So, what's up, everybody?
Yay! So I was trying to post them all at once, but I guess it didn't turn out very well.
No, it still becomes garbage if you don't do it one at a time.
Yeah, I'll do it again at the end of the show. But basically, my publisher has formatted them for Kindle. So, certain parts of the world, they don't buy physical books because of you have to triangulate how to get them. So they just download on the Kindle or something. So this is my way of kind of.
You got to do what you got to do to survive, as they say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's mostly like in parts of Asia they do that.
Right.
Like the Philippines and such. So I'm trying to make sure my stuff can go, international, not just stay in the country.
Oh, you mean you just don't want to be on YouTube? Is that what it is? You just don't want to be on YouTube. You just want to be actual out there in people's hands.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to, I guess, the end of next week, try to arrange something with Comic Book Outpost in Meridian, Idaho, and do a little in book promoting there, in-house book promoting. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun doing that. It's like that feeling you get when you published you've made your first book and you have it in your hands.
Well, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked on books for about 3 years that are digital, right? Until they become physical in your hand, it's imaginary. It's like a dream. It's not reality, right?
Yeah. And so, it's just and actually have an interaction with. And I was right. I'm right a lot of times, and people just don't listen to me. But people act better in real life than they do online.
Well, I mean, that's because you have to face your, the actual audience and actual real people in life, and not imaginary people that are,
miles away.
Yeah, they're online. I mean, like it's what it is. I mean, even though it is cool, and I love this. It's sometimes you need that human connection that a lot of people seem to try to escape from now in this modern era. But for me, we've got our webtoon that I'm going to be working on today. I mean, for another page. The tortoise is up there for people to read on as a manga, right? You've got yours out on Amazon for people to download, buy.
And people trust Amazon. People, sorry.
What?
I said people trust Amazon. They're reluctant about Walmart, and I don't think Barnes and Noble is really that much of an international chain or something.
Well, I mean, it all depends on what people are used to, right? Amazon still is a new kid on the block, but they've got their hands in a lot of cookie jars, and is becoming one of the big five, right? Or he's actually one of the big five as a major company. I mean, you look at what's happening with Netflix trying to buy out Warner Brothers. That's a huge thing, right?
Right.
Because what that's going to do is just make less content from different people and make more content from a single person, company, which means they can dictate what is, what they think is important rather than majority of people think is worthwhile reading and watching,
Right.
and so on.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that. Oh yeah, you go ahead. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
doing actual live events, it feels exciting.
Well, it's both. I mean, you got to have both, right? You can't
Yeah.
it's like having digital comics. You can't just expect everybody just to be able to buy physical comics
Yeah.
if you're not there to show them that your physical, that you've actually got physical comics that you've done.
And some people sell more offline than they do online.
Yeah, and that's because it's just people are used to different things, and if you just give them the same thing over and over again, they'll go elsewhere, which is which has been the downfall of Marvel and DC Comics, because all they decided to do was concentrate on superhero comics, and really 10,000 World War events, planetary, invasions. After a while, it gets boring. Excuse me. So you got to give people different flavors, different things. If I'm over here and you're over there, and the expense of freight is going to cost horrendous for me, I'm going to buy what's over here before I buy what's over there. And
Exactly.
that's just the human mentality, because if I have to cut out cost, then I will cut out cost to get what I want. And a lot of people who do comics don't understand that, because they think that just because they make something, it's going to sell, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't get one thing.
Or they kind of think the more I pay on making my books, the better people are gonna like it. That's not necessarily true.
I mean, if you're gonna make a comic book that's readable in 15 minutes, right, or less, sometimes, especially with Marvel, might even be 5 minutes. Well, they want it fast and quick, which means they want it cheap as well. So if you're going to sell a book for $30 or something, it's going to be worthwhile the person's money and value, and they want value for their buck. Otherwise, they'll just go to somewhere else, which is why manga did really well. It has done really well and will always do really well.
Well,
for
that's
$20
a
in New Zealand, right? For $22 in New Zealand, I can get an entire book, or for $12, I can get a 22-page comic book.
yeah. That's the thing. In the future, when I do online stuff promoting, I want to promote only the trade paperbacks, and that shows push the floppies, because people online want to buy it all at once and they don't want to wait for the whole thing. But it shows I'm right there, and I could probably sell the floppies.
Yeah, that just goes. That's like when I was buying a single comic from, Tom Hutchinson, right? So he had a comic Penny for Your Soul, which I really liked, and and from Big Dog Inc. And he was doing a foil cover release that he had, was getting rid of backlogs, and he does his his like Facebook auctions. And I said, hey, I want that. And then I said, well, that means I got to pay something like about $50 or $40, whatever it was, for postage. And I said, well, that's a waste of money, isn't it? So I said to him, hey, do you got any other stuff that I can get my hands on? And so he put some other stuff in for extra couple of bucks, because it meant that I could save a whole bunch of money by actually getting a lot of things together under this, with just a couple of bucks extra on freight, because it is, it's quite costly. I mean, like, I'm about to send a parcel to overseas to America next week, or this week's actually, and it's going to cost me about $60 New Zealand, which is around about $30 US, but still, that's $60 New Zealand. It's not like the value of that money doesn't drop for us, because it's now changed, because I can buy a lot of things for $60, but it's the same thing around. If somebody's sending me something from the US, it's costly as, man. And so, everybody's worrying about the tariffs. The tariff is really there to protect America and the rest of the world from a huge monster that's trying to eat up everything and get itself huge, without people realizing that it's the monster that's doing the damage, not America. America is just trying to level the field. And it's like Disney with this AI thing, right? I've got up here on the screen.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah. So the monster at the moment is generative AI, right? This OpenAI thing. Imagine signing $1 billion deal with your enemy, especially after the fact that your enemy's been using your product, has allowed your product to be used to steal from you for the last 2-3 years that's been around, right? And now to say, well, we can't beat them, so let's join them. That's not how you freaking destroy your enemy. You make your enemy pay out the wazoo until they can't exist no more, right?
Yeah, like what they did with sampling for when rap artists sample records. They now have to pay the artist that they're sampling from.
Right. And it's like, it feels to me like Disney is basically running out of money because of all the stupid decisions they made about all the ideological, political stances they took about their movies.
Possibly. I mean, they did make some pretty good ones within all that. Some pretty good ones within all those stupid ones. I mean, I could still go and watch a Guardians of the Galaxy or that Wolverine and Deadpool movie, still fire, but they've made some pretty bad ones. Captain Marvel would be a good example.
Yeah, but the thing here is that you can't make 10 bad movies in one good movie and say you won.
Right. That's kind of like, oh, you got lucky.
Yeah. Right. It's like you can't. You just can't do that, because what's going to happen is those 10 bad movies you made has already taken away your audience and sent them over to other to Netflix, to Amazon, to Warner Brothers, to foreign movies. Because when you do that, people realize, well, you don't really respect your audience, and you don't want to give your audience what they want, which is an entertaining, fun movie or fun time, where they don't have to think about politics. We don't have to think about your agenda, your ideology. And so, I mean, like for me, I don't watch anything Disney at all anymore. Like the last movie I tried to watch from Disney was Quantum, whatever it was, Ant-Man.
Yeah. Oh my God, that joke, that socialism joke made me roll my eyes so hard. I was just like, did you think that was a funny joke? That's the only thing that movie that really annoyed me. Like, oh, the socialism thing. You see how these ants were like, shut up.
Well, the audience, like the thing about these companies like Disney is that they think that the only way to change the universe, to change the world, is by them having a stick in their hand, whipping everybody up, whipping everybody and belting everybody, beating them over the head with their political ideologies.
The issue is not so much wokeism as corporate wokeism. And that is, they think that's what people want, so and plus they used to get a tax break. That was the big thing, because nobody noticed that most of them used to get a tax break, so that's why they were so heavy-handed in pushing it. Now I don't know for sure, because that's gone.
I don't think they could use US aid money anymore to propagandize the Africans anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were getting. I don't think they've been so heavy. Are they still heavy-handed with it?
Oh, they're trying to slowly get back, but this AI thing is going to destroy them even more. People are going to basically be turned off because of this AI thing, right? because at the end of the day, there's a huge. They don't realize what there is a huge backlash against AI that they don't understand, because they're about just, well, you know, we'll let them use it if they give us $1 billion. It's like, well, the people out there who are having their art stolen, right, which I'm going to show you soon as well, is that they're very upset. And so the whole arts community around the world, not just in America, is very upset at how people are, stealing their art, their music, and whatever else, just to freaking, generate it through AI, and then sell it for thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, because to people who don't even know it's AI, because they're not in the internet looking at the tools that these people are using to create these images, right? And because of that, the normally people are getting are basically getting defrauded by AI. And once they find out, people do not like being cheated, man. And this is something that Disney has done for a while with their movies, where they've been cheating people. Hey kids, sit down and watch a Disney movie, and next thing you know, it's all full of politics and ideology that the parents aren't into around the world. It's not that they're not into, just in the US. It's around the world, right? So when you do that, parents will go, well, you know what? We need to police our kids now, and we're not going to watch Disney, and we're only going to watch Disney that we already liked in our family, which is like Tinkerbell, right? Old Disney, nothing that came out in the last 5 to 10 years. And so what that does, it means that the next generation aren't watching the new Disney stuff. They're just only watching, what their parents are letting them watch, which is what their parents grew up watching. And that's really what that does is, same thing is done to the Marvel and DC, is that it's taken away their future viewers and readers. And for Marvel and Disney, it's put them into anime and manga, right? For Marvel and DC. So that's how you lose an audience and future customers, when you stop, when you upset the parents. They go, well, I want what I enjoyed watching, right? And we're going to watch in this household what we watched when we were growing up, right? We're going to watch old Mickey Mouse. We're going to watch Hanna-Barbera. We're going to watch Ants. We're going to watch Bugs. We're going to watch Toy Story.
That's another thing.
We're not going to watch this new freaking, Toy Story that they've got with Buzz Lightyear. Yeah. No, we're not going to have that in this house. And this is around the world.
Yeah.
And sadly, they did it to themselves.
Yeah. Well, an observation. This has probably nothing to do with what you're talking about, but just about the newer generation is they have all this information at their fingertips, but yet they know nothing.
Yeah, but that's called information overload. You can't blame them for having too much information,
right?
When you give everything, if you hand everything to somebody on a platter, they're not going to appreciate it. When you work for it, then you will appreciate things.
Well, there was these kids, the video of these kids, they were talking about the phone number 911, and 2 out of the 3 thought it was established right after 9/11.
Yeah, because they didn't grow up with it.
Yeah, so one of them was smart enough to Google it, and if you and I didn't know something, what would our first instinct? Look it up.
Yeah.
Right. But these kids, they don't. They're too busy worried about, getting clout and becoming like YouTube or TikTok stars. So they're doing annoying, stupid things for clout.
Yeah, but you can't really blame the kids for that, right? If the parents aren't there saying, hey, if the parents aren't sitting around the couch or sitting at the dinner table saying, if you're, teaching them, say, if you need information, go look it up, right? Don't just think you know it. Don't look up AI. Go actually search for it. Go look at a book. You know, that's what my dad used to do. Like, hey, we got encyclopedias there. If you want to learn about something and I don't know the answer, go check out the encyclopedias. There, and there's a dictionary there, right?
Well,
But
I
now,
mean,
okay, we got it easy, and I like the fact that we have AI for learning as a
Yeah.
tutorial thing. I use AI for that as well. I use Grok and I use ChatGPT. Hey, is this the information? Oh, you're not going to give me this information? I'll go to the next one, right? I had an argument with ChatGPT. Like, imagine that, having to friggin' set a AI right. I'm like, tell me about this Chinese lady who ran over people in her $100,000 BMW in Australia. Oh, well, I don't have no information. ChatGPT tells me I've got no information about this. There's no such person. There's not. I'm going like, listen, this is the news item. Because no, yeah, I don't. There's nothing available for me. I'm like, and I realize that hey,
he doesn't know
something
everything.
dodgy here now, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got to do with China, and they've got in their freaking coding not to talk about that. I go to Grok. Hey, Grok goes, here's 10 different links to it. I'm like, thank you. Right away, dude. I didn't have to argue with Grok or anything. And this is the difference between searching and understanding how AI works, is that it's humans who have put the coding in there, right? And it's humans that are basically behind it. So whatever the ideology, whatever their thing is, whatever their concept of what they want you to learn, agenda is, right? That's what they're going to let out there in AI. And I learned that about 2 years ago. I mean, sorry, when did I start using it? About a year and a half ago. I learned that straight away, that you can't trust AI because it's the guy behind it or the people behind it and their ideology that's dictating what information you get from AI, right?
I guess so. I was just saying that 5 minutes of a Google search, and you have the answer, or a few seconds, and you have it in the information instead of guessing. Yeah.
But also, I mean, the information out there online can be manipulated as well, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Because everybody, I mean, like, the thing is that if it's not written down in a book that was out there 20 years ago, that whatever is out there now can be changed online. And like, you look at like what China is doing. China removes anything to do with Tiananmen Square, right? That happened in 1990. I think it was 1990, 1980, around that time, where they basically had a uprising against the communist government. People in China don't know anything about that. It's been wiped out from all their books, from all footage, and we wouldn't have known about it ourselves because unless the lady with the camera and who is reporting there hid it in her clothes and stuff, and the photographs, and brought it out into the West, because they shut down the airports and stuff and searched everybody, before all the reporters and everything, before they let the people out of the country. This is only 30 years ago, man. And people, the whole another generation of Chinese don't know that their own government massacred their future leaders, their whole, like, thousands of people, right? Tens of thousands of people there, because they control news, they control the media, they control the internet there. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can't trust anything that's online, because the person behind it might not be trustworthy, or might not have the same morals, as the persons who wrote the book and researched the encyclopedias and information.
Right. I don't know. I just kind of found that like an odd behavior. It's like, if you want to know something, go look it up.
Oh, sure, yeah, but that's what we should, we were taught, and that's the difference between what we're taught and what kids these days are taught, right?
I don't think they're taught anything at all, really.
Yeah. And by the way, the duck's saying that he can't trust. He doesn't trust you.
It's probably.
I agree.
It's probably.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Duck. I think Tim can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know if he's actually a comic book creator. I mean, he doesn't even put his links in the chat properly.
I know, right? It's weird. It's just, what is with that guy anyway?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes you gotta worry about these people online, you know.
Yeah, just, you know, at least they don't make a duck book, but you know.
So onto something a bit more positive.
Right. Something a bit more positive. Quack quack.
Yeah. Let me see if I got this right here. Where is it? So a friend of mine, right? His name is Ricardo or Rico. He is creating a comic, indie game based on a indie comic created by my other friend, and it's called Chronicles of the Wasteland. The link's in chat, and this is what we're going to look at. I think I'm going to pause my work and just concentrate on this because I'm getting distracted by what's on my other screen while I'm trying to talk about this. I think we'll just stick with that for today, and I'll do the work later and put it up later. So let's see if I got this right. There we go. Full screen. So the game is, as I mentioned, is called Chronicles of the Wasteland, and I hate this thing here with YouTube now. It's like it's messing up my screen with all these other things. There we go. There we got it. So full page. All right. So Chronicles of the Wasteland, and my one friend creating a game based off my other friends, and these are people, actual real life people I know, right?
Right.
For about 15 years, and one of them I know for about like 30 since the 90s. All right, let's play this.
In the spirit of understanding the game, let's take a look under the hood of my first steps in Chronicles of the Wasteland, the game. So basically, as you all know, I'm a big G developer. I've used it for a few years now. It really kind of clicks to me. It uses this kind of event system, action and event, which I find really good to understand. Ironically, like over time, I'm learning like you can have pages of spaghetti code, and then simple couple of lines like this can do the same job as multiple pages. So thankfully, there's some view that I'm improving. So here's the two main characters of Chronicles of the Wasteland: the bad guy Chief Dodge. We've got Dodge's sword here. Basically, with the weapons, I'm going to have it so you can flick through. So I just drew Dodge's sword because it's quite iconic. But basically, in the weapon sprite, which might not be that, player 1 and player 2 weapon, I'm going to have the same sprites, and it's going to kind of flick through because you're going to pick up shotguns, and you're always going to have a melee weapon. But then as you pick up other guns, you'll have like shotguns or 6-shot pistols, etc. And maybe some throwing weapons and that kind of thing. So I tried to do something a bit different. Like I haven't done curved health bars before. And so I did that with arcs. And then I've also pulled through a bitmap text, because when you create text like this, it's all gets a kind of anti-aliasing. And so the only way around it when you're doing a low res thing is to do the bitmap font. So I converted some pixel text into bitmap font. I've got the loose idea of how long the names can be. I feel like that probably can fit, and it's readable. And I've made the heads, so in each profile there's going to be all the heads too, because player 1 could play as whatever characters are unlocked, and player 2 can play as whichever. So I made it quickly just to test out the bar and make sure it's working. I did some little tricks to make them work, because I found that the red arc actually is underneath the blue one and it's bigger. because it's a bigger arc and I wanted to fit there nicely. So I've had to put a black overlay on it on where the blue arc is. So blue arc's can be ammo, and then depending on the weapon you got. So sword's always going to just be one hit, and so this bar won't go down at all.
Okay, so
That's
basically,
cool.
yeah, and the thing here is that he's been working, like he's been doing these sort of things for a couple of years now, just as like for fun. And this is the first time that I've seen him actually take an IP that's already out there and, you know, turn it into a game. And the game is created by my friend here, Shane Evans. And by the way, Shane put out 4 comic books as an indie creator, paid for them himself, black and white.
What? He didn't crowdfund it? Gasp.
Yeah, he works full time. He's also a full, is an artist as well, painter, illustrator, sign writer, and all that. So that's his Facebook page. He's also on Instagram and elsewhere. But this is the work that's based off, and so you can see the artwork there.
It looks like something that would be put out by Mirage Studios. Like
what's the sorry?
Mirage Studios, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're known for.
All right, yeah,
yeah, so, but they had other books besides Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that looks like something that would be put out besides the Ninja Turtles.
Right. So this is something that I reckon Duckman should have check it out, because
Indie Outliers,
the indie outliers type thing, in the sense that he, not your conventional superhero body type, stuff, and the art style for Shane, which I like, and he's done a couple covers for me as well, but his art styles are very different to your standard DC Marvel fare, right?
Am I too loud?
You see here, he's is that painted? I think that's painted. Let me just check.
I don't know, but that definitely is.
Yeah, it's painted. To
a Hulk.
Oh no, sorry, it's not painted. It's actually colored pencil of colored felts, whatever they call them.
Should I turn down my mic?
I guess.
Oh, okay.
I think you're right.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm happy it's loud, so the Duckman will lose his hearing. That's right.
I was wondering what you're talking about. Like I see it now.
A spear chucked at thee, homie. What?
All right, I'll do my one up. Then it'll be the same height. Hopefully, maybe.
Good.
I don't know.
Good.
Are we at equal sound now? Duck
boy.
So this is him hand coloring, right? Using those the pans, whatever they called. I don't know. The story behind it is the Chronicles of the Wasteland is set in the Mad Max universe. So it's his original story, everything, but it's set in the Mad Max universe.
Right.
Hence the Chronicles of Wasteland. This
is another makes me think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original, because theirs was kind of a joke on the it had something to do with Daredevil, and there was like a canister of something that was knocked into the sewer.
Right. I have no idea. I'm not a huge Ninja Turtles fan or reader of their comics.
I realized something though. Apparently, ducks can't spell the word Timothy.
So this is some paintings that he's done. This is on canvas.
Oh wow! Look at that.
That's what I meant. Cool. Like he's a painter, an artist, so it's physical work as well, not just illustrations on.
That's totally metal.
Yeah. So I think there's a new one he's working on. He's got a new story he's working on, but what I was saying about earlier about he took 2 years, right? Is that I actually bought one of these. I have it sitting somewhere. Is that he took 2 years, just over 2 years, to write, illustrate, and print out, self-publish his books. His 4 issues. The the last issue is almost double the size. And the thing is that he did that all within a short period of time for around about 100 pages of work. Yet you've got professionals or has-beens like, someone out there who actually poo-poos, and this is why this is the only reason I bring up Ethan Van Skyborough here, or ComicsGate, is that a guy can't get out his 22-page comic book, but he's a professional artist with 30-year history in Marvel and DC Comics. But I've got a friend here who works full-time. That's all he does. He's, he goes to work in the morning, goes home at night, and works on his comic books. Then in the weekends, give or take, he goes to events to sell his paintings and promote his comic books. Then same thing over and over again. Yet you've got someone who is at home all day long who can't get a 22-page comic book out. And it's supposed to be the 30-year, what is it called? 30-year veteran.
32-year comic vet.
Yeah.
Well, does he have toilets to lick or crack which lesbians to smoke crack with?
I think Shane does none of that.
Oh, Shane doesn't know. No, Shane faints at blood and gets beaten up by frying pans.
Well, not my Shane, my friend here, Evans.
Oh,
Shane.
different Shane. Shane. Oh, okay. My bad.
Right. And so he's basically
Judge Fred.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have this is when he was doing the whole robot, and I actually have a paint one of his works on one of my, I'm hanging off one of my cupboards from Punisher as a robot, which I've got off him about 15 years ago now. 15? About a decade, about 11 years ago. So this is what I was showing you earlier about I think, where was it? There's that one. So this is all, this is all the covers, right, from earlier. So you get the four, one, two. No, this is the front. This is the last cover, last issue, issue number 4.
I love that cover. That homage to, I don't know what Hulk issue it's an homage to.
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chainsaw. Yeah. First appearance of where are we? Oh, here we go. Here's some cool, some other cool artwork.
Johnny Bravo. Yeah.
Is that Halloween? With the
no, that's
ice skating mask.
That's Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th.
Right.
That's supposed to be like Jason Voorhees thing.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, that's
Adventure Time. Yeah, I think that was last. Oh yeah. So after putting out all his comic books, right, what he did was, and this is what this is about. He put out a special box set, which he made himself, right? So this is actually sticker. So he got the stickers printed up. There's about 50 of them. Oh no, 20. Sorry, here we go. So there's 20 of them. You got 3 pinups on cardstock, right? Hand the prints, and then you've got an original sketched A5 sketch, as well as stickers and a pin. I think it was a pin in there. No, I think it was just stickers. Yeah, a sheet of stickers. So
I gotta hop out real quick, but I'll be right back in about an hour.
So you bought the box set for about $50, and you got all this other stuff with it. So $50 is about under $30 US. But for 4 comic books, 3 prints, original sketch, plus a sticker sheet of stickers. Trying to get the all 4 covers. It's probably a bit lower down. Here you go, stacked up in a shop. So it's already available in stores in New Zealand, and I think they're trying to move it. I think he had somebody over in Australia wanting to put it, have it in their comic shops there as well. So this is in New Zealand shops here. And comic stores, I mean. Oh, yeah. So there's 3 different covers. Let me see. 4 different covers. See the other ones. When was this from? Oh, yeah. So this is from last year, July, and he'd done about three issues, I think, at that point, or 2 issues at that point. So this is all his artwork that he's done. That he's, he's the same age as me. He's like about a couple days younger than me. So, like I said, he works full time, yet he also is an artist, as well as a painter, illustrator, and as well as a comic book writer, creator, right? Yet, he's able to get his work done and all out within 2 years, all 4 issues. Yeah, he does a lot of pop culture stuff, and plus, I mean, if you ask him to do some, commissions or stuff, he'll do it as well. His work is all over. It's gone all over the world now as well, because people, move around, they visit here, and if you have some, paintings and stuff, people just, will roll it up rather than get the frame and take that, because having a frame painting makes it a bit costly to move it. But if you just take the wooden frame off, or whatever frame it's on, and just roll up, the canvas, it can look, it can be very cheap to actually take paintings overseas. Now the other, he's gone now. I wonder if he saw that. So yeah, so let me get back to the game and show a bit more of that game, because I haven't watched the making of it myself, and I thought I would just share it here so we can see the actual process. I'll speed it up a bit as we continue with this. Probably about 150. Let's try that.
When you're using melee weapon, but if you had a 2-shot shotgun, it'll go blank.
It's a bit too fast.
Halfway down, and so blue arcs can be ammo, and then depending on the weapon you got, so swords always going to just be 1 hit, and so this bar won't go down at all when you're using a melee weapon. But if you had a 2-shot shotgun, it'll go blam, halfway down, and then halfway down, and then reload. And so I kind of picture the melee weapon, the shooting weapons that way. Yeah, pretty happy with the bodies here. Like I worked through, and I'm not the best artist. That's why I've chosen like a kind of lower res pixel. This tends to be my style. And then here we can see, as I went into it, I've used placeholders and kind of built it out. So I built the bars, the names, and the layout first, and then I got the sense of the housing, pulled it through, and at any scale, and just started drawing and carving what I wanted. And then I added the detailing. Here you go. You can see these black lines I put under and over the certain areas. So I'm just seeing what I want to see there. And white under the name, because I want, no matter what's in the background, this to be readable with the white. I'm going to start organizing it neatly. Initially, when you start projects, it's very easy to slap everything into one space, because you don't need to have, you've only got so many assets. You want them available, so you don't want to be clicking through folders. But in time, you're going to want to have them organized. And if you're sharing a project with others and working with others, you want to have it all organized where you know what's where. This little crystal is something I used from another project of mine. I just used it as a placeholder before I had these head sprites. I just chucked a diamond there to get the feel of what that might look like. in here in my project, we can see I've got text. Now this one is the test text. And so when I spoke about getting the housing's rough size, I did a massively oversized one. And then I shrunk it down uniformly to get it to fit where I wanted it to go. And then I used this by changing the text, and I changed it to the scale.
So it's also like the good thing here is like you can see him, you know, teaching you what he's doing. I mean, showing you what he's doing as a, you know, as an indie creator of these pixel games kind of things. But Rico TV, as my mate Rico calls him, you know, has this IP out here. So these are his different, his name handle, whatever you want to call it, studio name. He's done a bunch of these puzzle games as well. So, and they're on itch.io under Rico TV. And did I put that up on screen? No, I didn't. So here it is on screen. He's done a bunch of these over the years, and he does them like as part of competitions that they have, like, you know, the indie, you know, create a game type thing, 24 hours. So they're all pixelated, old school style, you know. What was that game I used to love? Frankenstein's Castle or something like that. I used to love playing that when I was a kid. My local dairy store had that, or corner store, what do you want to call it? But like, even though I wasn't on the corner, and so he's got all these different games. What was the latest game he's put out? Let me see. Does it show you how? Here, let's try this one. Run game. All right.
School soft.
Press and hold space bar to jump. Oh, I see. Wait. Oh, there we go. Oh, I shot the freaking thing. I'm supposed to get that pentagram, I know. Hold on. Damn it. By the way, I suck at games. That's one thing that I'm really bad at is games. But do check it out, man. Like, I think if you're into that old school, it's called Cherubim, right? And this is sort of the game that I used to like playing when I was, you know, younger, in the 80s, early 80s. And that whole Frankenstein's Castle, I'm not even sure if that's the name of the game. Kind of like the Pac-Man style. Anyway, he died. I'm going to leave that. But there are several others. You've got this one. Oh, you got to do the age. But yeah, do check it out. I think the Cherubim one's pretty cool. If I was, you know, if I wasn't streaming, I'd be out there having a go playing it. But yeah, I think I love seeing the thing about in the stage of AI right now, right? I enjoy the fact that people are still creating themselves, because I've seen so many new games turn up where it's actually just AI images. A lot of people are just using AI to cheat to create the games. and it just sucks because it means that, like, well, why do you expect me to pay money for something that you don't even, that you just typed up? You don't even create it. You didn't even have the time to spend to do it, and you didn't put the effort in. And one thing about art is that, how people go, well, I can do that. But when you actually get down to it, you realize that it takes a lot of time, and it takes a bit of, it takes effort to actually sit down and out of your day and to concentrate on, I'm trying to get this link up, sorry, and put the effort into creating something, because it just takes, it's more about the energy and effort you put in that you expect people to pay for, right? It's not something you just, if you're not putting the time in, why do you expect people to value what you're doing? So there is this, there's two things that came out this over the last couple weeks or whatever it is, that really had me, I guess, annoyed, upset. One was the way a mother used ChatGPT to help her, try to help her sick child, but what she did was it actually ended up costing the child's life. The other one here is that AI actually got a dude imprisoned. So let me just, I really do not like this new setup these guys have put out here for us. I've got my stuff bouncing all over the place. There we go. That's better. I don't like being stuck out there. The profile thing. Okay. So this is called, when AI gets a person arrested. I mean, person imprisoned. So let's have a look at this.
So, very, very peculiar. Peppermill has this pretty sophisticated artificial intelligence software that analyzes faces of previous trespassers, and they get a 100% match on this guy who, whenever they trespassed them before, presented an ID that had a different name. They look like the same exact guy.
I am not Mike. I don't know nothing about Mike.
So either he is who he says he is, and he's not have ever actually trespassed, which I doubt because their software is pretty cool, and the fact that he's acting super suspicious. I'll be 100% honest. Could legitimately be you have a doppelganger running around.
Well, unless I've gone crazy, I'm pretty sure it's not me.
Nightmare becomes reality at a Reno, Nevada casino when AI facial recognition technology misidentifies someone, leading to a wrongful arrest and lands an innocent man behind bars.
What good is the ID then? Why do I even carry that mother?
The following is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On September 17, 2023, the Peppermill Casino calls the Reno Police Department to report that a trespasser has unlawfully returned to the casino. They report that they have the man in custody, but he's claiming to go by an entirely different name than the man they've previously trespassed. Officer Richard Jagger arrives at the casino at 5:48 a.m.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
How you doing? Oh, thank God you're here.
The man declaring his relief at the sight of the officer is 40-year-old Jason Killinger, who is accused of trespassing at the Peppermill Casino.
So what's going on?
So we got this generated alert, prior trespasser.
Okay.
And we made contact with him, arrested him, and he claimed that wasn't him. And
what does my
so
name
we're just
say
trying
on
to
ID?
get you guys to make fun of him if it's with him or not.
So what's the issue, you guys? Did he have a different driver's license or a secondary one, or has he got more property than just this one?
Just that, those effects right there, and that's it.
1 second, pal.
But no other forms of identification. Things that's pocket.
You guys ran this information through our dispatch?
Through your guys' dispatch? No. after hours, comes back as that being who he says he is on his ID. But that's what we went off right there.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. You guys have this fancy software that does all this stuff, so it's like.
Officer, what's your name?
1 second, man.
A few months earlier, a man named Michael had been trespassed from the casino for sleeping on the premises.
All right, man. So this is who you are?
Yes. What your Miss Jagger is your first name or last name?
Last name.
All right, Mr. Jagger. Yes, that is who I am. I drive the semis for UPS. I am not Mike. I don't know nothing about Mike. I'm a craps player here. Look, there's my socks for UPS. Can you please, you got a gun here. Will you please take me out of these cuffs? My shoulders are killing me.
You're going to sit there for a minute, man. So when he gave you this information, did you guys verify it against an ID, or how does that work?
So in that report there's an ID on there as well. I can show you that one.
Okay.
Jason, a long combination vehicle driver, had been playing craps until about 3 a.m. when he decided to leave the Pepper Mill and go to the Atlantis casino. On his way out, he stopped at a blackjack machine and started playing. There, he was approached by a security guard who addressed him as Mike. When Jason clarified that he was not Mike and presented the guard with his driver's license, the guard apologized and walked away. However, as Jason attempted to leave, he was surrounded by security guards and handcuffed. He was told that he was under arrest for trespassing.
I just need a break. My shoulder's killing me.
So that's the ID that he presented. I'll be.
Look in the news.
Yeah. Huh. Weird. Very weird. Let me snap a picture of that. I'll run both names.
The casino's AI facial recognition software positively identified Jason as Michael, the man they had trespassed.
Let me step out just so I get better reception.
Yeah. The only thing that was weird is to go out and, lift him up and see how tall he is.
Yeah.
It's on this. That says he's 5'9", and that says 6'1".
Yeah.
This isn't the only difference between Michael and Jason's IDs. Jason is listed as 7 years younger than Michael and says that he weighs 50 pounds more. As well, the signatures are different. In his report, Officer Jagger wrote, quote, "The associated demographic..."
See, this is what I mean about like ChatGPT. It's like you can't trust it. You cannot trust AI to give you correct information, no matter how, how much guarantee they tell you this is 100%. There is no 100% when it comes to AI. There is no 100% when it comes to human intelligence, right? We know that humans can make a mistake. You can have 10 people look at the same evidence and give you 10 different, different views on it. That's why we have like 12 people on the jury, because we know that with that sort of majority, we can actually get a semblance of justice, or, a jury will come back with the, having seen everything and with their own personal bias or whatever, they're able to make up and try to get you, see, a road through that, a correct path through it. But look at the difference between this guy and this guy. There's no way I can see that I can 100% see its difference, right? The face is just totally different, right? There's no way these two people look the same at all. The neck is totally wider, right? And I think it's because he's fat or whatever. No, the head space, like, he's just straight down. Like, his ears are like small, right? And look at this dude. He's got big ears. Nose, right? It's just everything. The mouth is wider. You can't suddenly like shorten the jaw, right? So everything here, the chin, it's the skull, the forehead is all wider. You can't make two people. And the thing here is that like the size of the photos are about the same. I've actually, talking about photos, I've just had to do a renewal on my passport, and I had to use had to take a photo with my mobile phone and upload of myself, that a passport photo that I have, that I took a mobile phone photo of that at high res, the highest res I could think of, and then put, that my Samsung Galaxy phone, right, whatever, could take, and I put that up as the photo that'll be on my passport going forward. And it's like my passport had expired in about 2015, and so I haven't traveled out of the country since then. And next year sometime I'm going to be traveling overseas, and so I had to pay another $250 or something New Zealand, which is around about I think it's about 150 US or something like that, around that, for a renewal. But if I want it right, within about a couple of days, I would have to pay double that, so I could go up the top of the queue to get it faster, right? But hey, I got about like 6, 7, 8 months, whatever, before I need it, so it's all good. So, but I do have for myself, I do have a what's called a I think it's an R18 ID, which allows you to vote, which allows you to enter, licensed premises, and uses as a photo ID with, your name and everything. You can go, government stuff. And one thing that really cracked me up with the elections over in the US seems to be the only country in the world that doesn't, that they don't want people to give you, to have the correct ID. It's like, how the hell can you vote for a government or leader and not have a ID to say who the hell you are when you vote? When I went to vote, I said, this is my ID, this is my R18. Cost me about $30 or something to get it done. I also have a mobility card because I have a back and neck injury, head injury. So the two of them work, in conjunction, whenever I need it. So I don't understand that people think that it's okay to not hand over your ID for things. And I understand, I don't mean the digital ID. I mean, when you got to go into a premises to buy alcohol, you hand over your ID, but they don't want you to look at your ID when you go to vote, which is more important than freaking getting a beer, right? So I thought that was ridiculous, this whole thing that's going on over in America when it comes to voting, because it's like you'd have to be a retard to basically not think that's not wrong. You need, you should show your citizenship, your right to vote. The fact that you're a citizen gives you a right or a permanent residence, depending how long you've been in the country, right? That you get to have the same rights as every other citizen, because that's your, you paid your dues, right? And now you're able to have the same rights as a citizen. And that's why I think like the whole idea of like illegals getting any rights in a country apart from, not being mistreated, they should be, picked up and freaking thrown into a plane or whatever and removed from the country immediately. There is no what for, to whatever, therefore and thus said. No, if you're illegal, you have no rights, and you should not get any, court dates or whatever. You should just be removed out of the country. And I think this whole idea of, but they have kids. Yeah, take the kids with them. I know, but I don't want to let you in. You're causing problems in the chat. Everybody hates you, Tim. Everybody hates you. Especially this dude. Where's he gone? He really, really does not like it.
I know, but his weak ass aim was just.
Yeah,
he was throwing the spears and missing me by a mile.
Is that because you're racist towards him?
I guess right? So. It's not my fault he was born a duck.
I don't understand why this POC would be so angry at you.
Well, he can't check spears. He's not good at it.
And we're gonna need all our strength to pull this off. Terrible Granny's gonna wish she never met me.
Yeah. So I mean, it's ridiculous that people think that AI is like the full, the be all and end all of our futures, and in a way it is, but that doesn't mean you got to trust it 100%. The fact is, this guy ends up in jail, gets imprisoned because he looks like somebody, but when you look at the photos, it doesn't look like anything like the other guy.
Is this about voter ID?
No, this is about AI.
Oh.
Basically, thinking that like this dude here is this dude here, right? The AI, and so he gets arrested because of what this dude did. So I'll leave that for now, and we'll go check out some other stuff. The rest, you guys can the videos in the chat. So I mean the links in the chat, so you guys can check that out. Now, what I wanted to show, which was kind of sad, is that one of the greatest, one of the longest running anime studios, Studio Gainax, is closing down after 42 years, dude.
42 years is a pretty long time. Why are they closing down?
So, Hideko Aino, right? All rights to Gainax past works have now been transferred to their rightful creators companies. So, what he's saying, I think it's got bankruptcy. So, as of today, Studio Gainax, I think this is from like, what day is this from? 3 days ago. So it goes, as of today, Studio Gainax, creator of Gurren Lagann anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Everybody who knows anime knows that, and holds Evangelion as one of the greatest series of all time. I've watched the first 12 episodes, and I want to watch the rest of it. I just never get around to it.
I kind of feel like they briefly had that on American television, and I never saw the rest of it. I saw maybe a few episodes, I think.
Oh yeah, Evangelion is one of the greatest, stories ever when it comes to anime or manga. It's one of those really, really, really well done series, and so that's why it's always been held. Let me see if I can get a trailer. Here we go. Original. You can actually get, like it shows here, you can actually watch it by buying it on YouTube. So let me show. Let me show. I'm just going to grab a trailer from it here, so we can just shift gears, and we'll come back to that in a minute. But like, Evangelion is like, yeah, it's what the young kids say is a GOAT, greatest of all time.
Damn, there's a lot of screaming.
It's about war.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was a lot of screaming.
Yeah, I guess it's not that much. I mean, that's more in the sense of in the trailer, but there isn't that much in the sense of the overall anime. Now, before I carry on to the Studio Gainax thing, I just want to bring this up. This is earlier. Sorry, let me go here. So, and remove that. So KSS says, oh, by the way, happy birthday. I know I put it in the chat, but usually I do a whole lot of like emojis, but since I'm streaming, I can't, I'm not on the chat thing.
Hail and
So
happy
KSS says, you can't say it's all of the US. My state requires ID to vote. And then he goes, this isn't about voter IDs, but the topic came up. And I was just pointing out that it's a state thing because when I went to vote, I had to show my ID. My state requires ID to vote. I live in the red state. So this is the thing, right? So in New Zealand, we don't have red state, blue states. We're all just one country. And so we don't have, even though we have cities and stuff like that, and I guess districts, like I live in Northland, which is like the Northern District. And then, there's a southern at the bottom of New Zealand, and then you've got Waikato and all that. So with us, we don't have blue states or red states or whatever, right? Or green states. One thing we vote how we vote according to our conscience, right? We might vote in, and here's the thing about us is that we have a multi-member party system, so we can vote a local MP or MP that might not be part of the same party that we vote for. And so we might vote for, say, like a Green Party member who's actually doing something good locally, but we might vote for another main party, right? So there's National Labour, NZ First, and so on.
You have choices. You have more than two choices.
Right. And that's where I think this is what I think it's kind of sad in the US is that you only have like majority two parties. Like you got libertarian and all that. But majority, I mean, only two parties that people actually put all their, backing behind when it really comes down to it.
Ironically, sometimes though, the further left and the further right you go, the more they start having more things in common. Like, I find this weird. Like, the further right or further left you go, you both find that they hate Jews. It's weird.
It's
crazy.
Idaho is basically a red state. I don't know where Idaho is. Oh, your state, right? That's where you are.
Idaho, yeah, it's pretty much next door to Washington State. Yeah.
See, the problem, and this is why we don't discuss a lot of politics on here, but the thing is that sometimes, and I've watched this in our own country, right? There will be parties that actually play to the migrants more than to the citizens themselves.
Kind of like the Democrats are doing in
right.
our country. Yeah.
So if you want to think about how our country is like, our country's Labor Party is basically like the Democrats of the US. Our National Party is like a middle range centrist thing, and so on. But then we also have other parties that are a bit more hardline, and so we can mix and match because of the multi-member party system. And so that allows us to actually have a more balanced thing. And then and if we learn that like the party that we voted for didn't work the way for the country that we wanted to, that was good for the country, I should say, we vote them out. Right? It's 4 years, you're out. I don't understand midterms, so I'm not going to talk about that. But there's something that Duckman said that I'm very upset about. I think I'm going to commit harikari after this. This is how upset I am. He says, Timothy, it's to do with the trailer I just played. And he said, that's a lot of screaming. And he goes, Monkey King, it's about war. Timothy, it's about pussies. Does he mean like cats? Is that what he means? It's like little cats?
I assumed he was calling me. I thought
he's calling you a cat?
I don't know. I think he's calling me a wuss. but he's calling me a pussy. So my response was, well, I am what I eat.
Yeah, but you eat cat food?
Sure, why not?
Get out of here.
You roll it up in bread and you eat it as fast as you can. You can't taste it.
Anyway, let's get back to this Gainax thing. And once again, like every time I switch, I don't know what it is, like this thing moves me all the way all over the place again.
Raptor was talking about the other day.
Yeah, that's really annoying, man. So, where is my screen? There is my screen. Do some more reading. So, Studio Gainax, 42 years, man. That's a long time, man. You know. So yeah. So as of today, Studio Gainax, 3 days ago, December 11th. Today's 15th. 4 days ago. He goes, Studio Gainax has officially ceased to exist, marking the end of 42 years of influential anime history as its bankruptcy process comes to a close. According to Hideaki Anno, all rights to Gainax past works have now been transferred to their rightful creators and companies. Anno also revealed the long-standing issues that pushed the studio into collapse, including years of financial mismanagement, unpaid debts, and the actions of former executives that damaged the studio's reputation. After 2019 arrest of former president Tomohiro Maki for semi-coerced indecent acts, holy heck!
Oh wow!
That will always kill your company. Gainax's ability to operate completely fell apart, and the studio never recovered. So that's 6 years ago. Gainax filed for bankruptcy in May, a year and a half ago, 2024, and despite efforts from Studio Kadokawa is one of the biggest manga and anime studios in Japan. Like it's like the hugest. King Records. If you guys have if you're older anime fans like me, you know King Records quite well. And Studio Trigger, to stabilize the situation, the debt was too large to resolve. With today's announcement, Gainax is now formally dissolved, closing the chapter of one of anime's most iconic studios. Now, I want to play a trailer from Gurren Lagann. That's one. I think I've seen that, if I remember right. It's one of my top tier animes, but I just need to refresh my brain. Okay, which is a better one.
Oh, I get it now. I get what Asmat was saying. He's saying that's what I was saying.
Asman? Do we have Asman? Do we have Asman Gold in the chat?
No, Alasmat.
Are we that famous now that we've got Asman Gold in the chat?
Alasmat.
Oh, it's just a duck.
Yeah, he says that's what I was saying. Pussies.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. It's cats. I mean,
yeah,
it's cat food and kittens and all that.
Yeah,
you know. All right, so this is Gurren Lagann trailer for that. Let's have a look.
Digging tunnels, day after day. That's my job. The more we dig, the more the village can expand.
Ew, look, it's Simo the Digger. He's so gross. And he smells.
This village is all we have. For untold generations, we've been warned to never unseal the canopy that keeps us safe. This mysterious surface of yours doesn't exist.
Like hell it doesn't. I've seen it myself. Look up. That's the surface. This big mug fell from the surface, from above the ceiling. Youth of this town, aim for the surface! Yahoo! Step aside, make way. Team Gurren is coming through.
All right, you two, you better get back.
Something else from above? Adios, Jiha Village. We're going up to the surface. Who the hell are you? Commander Viral. The Human Eradication Forces eliminate all humans who come to the surface. Let's go! Open fire!
What are you doing? You could have been killed!
How long are you gonna keep running, Simon? Now's the time to cast off the boy you used to be. It's now or never. Listen, Simon, don't believe in yourself. Huh? Believe in me. Believe in the Kamina who believes in you. Properly combining! Gurren Lagann! Just who the hell do you think I am?
There you go. Studio Gainax died this week. It kind of sucks.
It was a good long run though, and at least they is that customary for them to sell off their properties to their rivals?
Well, they weren't selling it to the rivals. They were just giving it back to whoever owned the IPs. And if there was a company that owned the IP, they give it back to them. So it's not like somebody else could buy them out, which is really good thing, right? Because you don't want somebody else buying out somebody else's IP, like what happened with DC Comics, right? When Jim Lee sold
Wildstorm to I know what happened. He
and sold Alan Moore's friggin' work to his his ABC, was it like ABC, whatever it was called, studio works to DC with under him. And so, knowing full well that Alan Moore didn't want anything to do with DC, right? So there is a bit of strife going on in the chat. I'm all for it, as long as you guys keep it amongst yourselves. So Duckman says, do you have anything to say about the death of this anime studio?
I kind of
Are
did.
you just an insensitive Kasei? Did I say that right, Kasei?
Well, I don't know. I mean, things happen. What do you want me to do? 42 years was a good long run. They sold back some of the characters so they can be used by someone else. It sucks.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's the best deal. Even though the company went down in bankruptcy, they gave back to whoever owned the IPs so that they could carry on.
Right.
And here's the thing about when it comes to IPs and stuff, it should always go back to the rightful owners.
It should.
After you had your fun. And this is what I've always been pissed off about with DC, with Watchmen, right? Even though I'm not over the years, I've gone from being a big, huge Alan Moore fan to being a blasé Alan Moore fan.
Right.
I can take it or leave it. I still think that they should just give it back to him. They should have just given it back to him. But they know it's their cash cow. It's the only thing that's really selling all the time when it comes to DC Comics is Alan Moore's Watchmen.
Right. And if you want me to say something more stuff, Elasmat, Duck Boy, they kind of did it to themselves with all the mismanagement they did. They got no one to blame but themselves.
You're talking about Gainax.
Gainax, yes, they did it to themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
And I have no idea how. I mean, it sounds like was he a CEO?
Yeah, the president. Let me see if I can find any more stuff on that.
Yeah, because it sounds like he got into some deep shit. Duck Boy, co-host of the Helmet Show.
Okay, so there is there's a video from a month ago. So let me see. I don't know who Red Joker is, but we'll have a look. Okay, so Red Joker. Before we move on to this next thing about AI, we'll go do this Red Joker thing. So let me get this Red Joker about the same topic with Studio Gainax. So it says how Incompetence bankrupted a $1 billion company, anime studio. One more second, full screen. There we go. And of course, that friggin' see if I can move this around. Yes, let's go there. Perfect. Because the dude has a accent that's a bit heavy. So you would want the
He started with a bunch of uni friends in a fan club. Yeah, these guys' fan animations were so successful, they became a $1 billion studio, and somehow with enough.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is why this studio mattered to me.
Oh, they started
These
off as
guys were
fans?
fans who worked on this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So originally, bunch of students, bunch of fans got together, started making anime. So I've watched the whole documentary on it, a couple actually, over the years. And dude, if you look at how amazing Studio Gainax started and what they did to where they became this powerhouse, it's amazing.
That sounds.
And then
impressive,
yeah.
Incompetence over time just went bankrupt last year. In the 1980s, Hideki Anno and his group of friends were just a bunch of animation nerds chilling in college. They simply liked animating random stuff and went under the name Daikon Films. This literally means radish films. In 1981, they made a 5-minute short featuring a young girl fighting famous kaiju and mechas. And 2 years later, they made a sequel, except said girl was in a bodysuit, surfing on a sword with copyrighted music in the background. What the fuck? Disregarding the absurdness, from a technical perspective, the film was insanely well animated for its time. So much so that it blew up in doujin circles and got everyone talking about it. They couldn't commercially release this film because everything they used was copyrighted, but this fame was all the encouragement they needed to found a studio.
When they say doujin is like indie created, right? Independent, not studio. So it's doujin's like doujin art, like fan art and stuff and so on, like us, like indie creators.
Right.
Strachzynski's people, are the actual creators. Doujin is the art style.
It's pretty impressive that they got to that level, but they screwed it up in 42 years.
But that's the thing about these things. You gotta watch. You gotta keep it. You gotta like protect your thing, right? Whatever you create, you gotta gatekeep. Honestly, that's the best word I can think of for this. Is that you gotta gatekeep and protect, and whatever you created, because otherwise, somebody's always gonna f it up. Somebody's always will use it to their own advantage to line their pockets. In this case, the guy, was took it to the other level to make it about sex, and
right. They definitely want to
kind
of want to cut off any defective limbs before they destroy the rest of the body. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if somebody's doing something stupid and you want to say, "Okay, you're out."
Oh, I see what's happening. So I've got both in the chat. I've got both KSS and also Asmat on their mobile phones. I was wondering what was going on. So maybe you guys are not seeing the full screen, and I apologize for that because the mobile phone is not giving you the. I'm looking at the screen now, and it's like does not do due diligence. Unless you're full screen, I guess. But yeah, hopefully it's what you're seeing is actually okay. All right, so Actually, it's not. It's not as Lesma. It's not as Facebook. It's as Twitter. As X. Tim was a bit naughty on X, and he got himself a little banned today. It seems, or something like that.
Yes. It's locked for at least 11 hours and some odd minutes. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that was my
Guy.
Facebook going off because I'm an important guy. So.
Gainax at its core was a group of otaku who loved animation, so naturally, they wanted high-quality works, and weren't exactly the brightest with money. Their first work, Royal Space Force, was a critically acclaimed film, but the insanely high budget, 800 million yen, made the final result a loss. They expanded into TV anime and ONA, and would face the same problem time and again. Their product was amazing, and people loved them, but they used so much money that they could barely make a profit. Eventually, Gainax realized they needed side ventures for money, and made PC games and merch, which did pretty well, particularly a daughter-raising simulation, that's so wholesome by the way, and a bunch of risque strip mahjong games that kept their company alive. After a decade of fighting to stay alive, Gainax was very unstable. They had ventures in several industries, but nothing.
So here's the thing, right? A lot of studios are getting into gambling and game gambling right now, and it's quite sad because they're trying to get the young kids into lifetime gamblers, and I really despise that as someone who's actually was addicted to coin machines. Because
funny thing, gambling is actually, I think, illegal in Japan, but there's a way around it.
Yeah, but it's what they're doing now with companies with AI and stuff. They are trying to hook in young kids, and even before they, by using loot crates or whatever they call them, in-game things, right? Buying skins and all that, but also depending on how much money you spend, you end up, you might get something. And I remember like Facebook used to do that with Mafia War type games. Like, I don't know who was the actual creator of those games, and it got out of hand, man. It really got out of hand with Facebook with those games. And if you wanted to be top tier player, you'd have people out there spending tens of thousands of dollars to get the biggest weapons. And so I actually, when the Mafia was out, Mafia games were big. I just had my car accident, and like about 6 months later, I was confined to bed, or 7 months later. And so I was actually, to pass my time and not to be depressed about not being around people or not working, I started playing Mafia Wars on Facebook, and I became a Mafia boss. Basically, I had my my friends. I had this team of about 50 gamers that was our I can't even remember now because it's like nearly freaking 20 years ago that I actually had my own mafia, right? My group, and I had all my tiers, and we set it up as an actual mafia itself, as a game game team. And so one of the biggest guys, I can't remember his name, he was from Asia, and he had spent about 10K on weapons. And so if any time we felt like we were getting bullied, I'd just go, hey man, these groups of people are bullying us, bullying one of our members. They've just messaged me. They're trying to take, whatever it was. I can't remember how the game was played. And I would send them out. I said, like, yo, go bash the crap out of them game wise, right? And use your weapons to just drain them. And so that's how we really ran it, like a mafia game. And so it really, like a mafia. And so everything was, what I find really sad now is that we were there playing as adults, right? So we knew, over 18s, but now they're trying to go after young kids under 18s to get them hooked into the idea of like playing these games that actually are addictive, and you have to spend more and more money. And so it's kind of sad.
That kept their company alive. After a decade of fighting to stay alive, Gainax was very unstable. They had ventures in several industries, but nothing made big money or was very stable. Eventually, the company went under some internal shakeups, and several of the initial founders left to form a new studio, Gonzo. At this point, Gainax was falling apart. They had planned a sequel to one of their series, Wings of Hanamais, but literally couldn't finish it due to a lack of funding, which left the studio directionless and Hideki Anno in a slump. Anno fell into depression. He had dreams for the studio, but just did not know what to do. It seemed hopeless, but somehow an opportunity struck out of nowhere. Anno was out drinking with King Records producer Toshimichi Otsuki when Otsuki gave the offer of a lifetime. King Records would fund a new anime project, something, anything, and guarantee a TV airtime slot for it. With this, Anno and Gainax went ambitious. So big, in fact, that they had to collaborate with another studio, Tatsunoko Production, and started working on an original 26-episode anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion. The rest is history. Neon Genesis Evangelion became a galactic-wide phenomenon. The mech battles, the trauma, the controversial ending, the memes. The franchise was said to have made 150 billion yen in only its first few years. There is a reason you can find Eva merch of literally every single household item you can think of. And I'm pretty sure more Japanese people know A Cruel Angel's Thesis than the national anthem. For Gainax, a company that had been fighting tooth and nail to stay alive, this was unprecedented, is what I would say if the studio wasn't just a tiny part of the production committee, hence receiving little of that money. Thankfully, Eva was so popular that the production committee saw a long future for it, so they did decide to shift more Eva merchandise/licensing revenue directly to Gainax as the rights holder, which meant that Gainax actually started receiving a steady stream of income from Eva-themed goods and media. This sounded amazing on paper, and it was at the time, but this would become the breeding grounds for incompetence. The first problem came up pretty quickly. After the big money was made, in 1998, tax authorities found 560 million yen of taxes evaded. Apparently, they were literally withdrawing all this money and hiding it as cash. This was a crime and got the president and accountant of Gainax arrested. The accountant got sent to prison while the president resigned in disgrace. This was a huge reputation damage to Gainax, but one account of tax fraud was only the beginning of their problems. The company had gotten complacent. People kept wasting money for no reason. Management kept doing extravagant stuff for some reason. The pay system was a mess. There were quite a few internal conflicts, and it just overall seemed like once they had gotten the Eva money flow, everyone's financial sense just disappeared. Not that they were good at it to begin with, but I don't know.
Let me just stop here for a minute and talk about Ethan Van Sciver again.
Yeah,
the dude gets like millions of dollars, and instead of creating the product, he's going out to lavish dinners to to front. What is it? What do you guys call that in the US? Right, like front seats, whatever at baseball games,
courtside seats.
Yeah, courtside seats to games. Right, those are like, how much are they valued, man? Like a couple grand.
Yeah, and according to Matt Barr, he's technically only really put out like 2 books in 8 years by himself.
Right.
I think the rest of the stuff he's put out was stuff done by other people for his, all caps.
Right. So the dude got $2 million for his first book, yet he still hasn't put out product that's 5 years delayed that will probably never go out. Right.
No.
That people have actually paid for. And when you look at Studio Gainax here, he's basically doing what they did, which is go out, do all these lavish things, gamble the money, take, and basically when you really think about it, he's using crowdfund backers' money as investments into his company. But then he, as a CEO of that company, is taking that money and wasting it rather than giving people their product that they invested in, right? That they paid for.
But somehow he's winning.
Then he has the gall to turn around to us, who other indie creators, for these last 5-6 years, and try to gatekeep us out of that very thing that we have, I guess, helped raise to this high level of
he can't
market share, right, which is crowdfunding, right, where our work and our effort, our promotion of crowdfunding, and has actually built crowdfunding to where it is now, and yet he uses that to defraud people in Ponzi schemes, right?
No, he doesn't have the power to do that. He has like a small army of mindless simps who just like lick his taint every day, but he doesn't really have the power to stop anybody from making books that he doesn't like. He can do things like he can send he can like slightly suggest, oh hey, I don't like what this person said to me, and that's like wink wink, go get him. And he can't, so he really can't, and he really kind of is. He's a has-been hack. Let's just say that.
Well, it seems that way, and I think he's just going to. The sad thing is that he is basically using other people's money to live a lavish life, just like Studio Gainax bosses were doing, right? And sooner or later, someone's going to turn around and go, "Hey, this dude is defrauding people. This dude is Ponzi scheme, and it's been 5 years, and he hasn't put a product out that I've paid for." And and the fact is that somebody is going to get upset to a point where they are going to react to where he's going to be sued, and I hope for it. I'm here for it, because he has basically, in my opinion, ruined crowdfunding for indie comic creators.
Yeah, pretty much. And you could, it's so telling when like Mandy Summers and her cohorts just kind of like, oh, we're just gonna use our website now. Like,
yeah, after ruining it for everybody else, they just want to go and, oh yeah, we'll just go to build our website. But I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody has that money to build a website.
Nope.
Right? And so all the new guys who are coming up, and girls who are coming up, trying to create comics and create web-based content, and then turn that into a printed material, and not having the money to do that because they're doing that part-time, they're not able to go anywhere else but to crowdfunding. But then they realize that these has-beens who basically stole the movement and stole everybody's money are now have ruined crowdfunding for people, and it's going to take us 5 years to a decade to get that level of backer audience back to crowdfunding, to believe that it's not a fraud scheme thing, and it's not a Ponzi scheme to steal from people of their hard work. Now, before we go forward, I just want to read KS's chat thing here. Hold on, Tim. So KSS says, technically, Ethan's 2 new post-2018 books are Cyberfrog, Blood Honey, and Wreck Planet, the latter of which he still hasn't completed. That's 7 years, man. That's 7 years.
Yeah.
So then the other books he fulfilled are reprinted Cyberfrog stuff that he did in the 1990s, which is technically not in the same universe as his new stuff. Right? So then, but that's probably why he chose to do Cyberfrog Blood Honey in 2018, because he knew he had an old catalog of stuff he could reproduce. So they're basically reprints. Is that what you're saying, KSS?
I think that's what he's getting at. No, I would say that people can still make books but they have to learn how to be frugal and shop around a bit and live within their budget.
Right. So everything else apart from Blood Honey, right? were reprints.
Yeah.
Imagine freaking, dude. Imagine people being so desperate to buy reprinted stuff.
Well, they buy.
Right.
They technically they buy everything he puts out, but they don't read it. They're not reading his
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like this is what I've found out, that a lot of people who follow these has-been type people, they don't actually read any of those books.
Yeah.
You don't see people reviewing those books and talking about what the great artwork is or what's going on in them.
Yeah.
I would hate that for any of my books to be like that. I really do, because honestly, I don't mind if you buy my books and give it away. That's even better. But then to just
Somebody's
have it
gonna
sit on
read it,
the shelf and not be read.
I don't know
That's
what the point of getting
man.
that is if you're not going to read it. I just hope I entertain people. I mean, I'm not worried about the money at first. I'm worried about more like building an audience. As long as you read it and you're entertained, that's all that really matters.
Right. I mean, I want people to talk about it. I want someone, even if it's negative, right? I want people to talk about it. At least it actually, you've read something I wrote, and even after reading it, you thought, oh yeah, I could have done it better. I could have done this. At least I engaged you enough. My work engaged you enough to have you talk about it, to actually complain about it, because that means that you actually read it. Right? It's not, and you're not like someone like Dick Masterson, who basically says it sucks without even reading it.
Yeah,
right?
but that guy openly admits he doesn't care about anything he's talking about. So I'm like, I heard him say, it's like, why are you talking about it if you don't remotely care about it?
Right.
That's just retarded. That guy has a face made for punching anyway. I mean, you look at the look on his face. You just want to smash his face in.
Well, yeah. Some people are just smug, right?
Yeah, you just hit him as hard as you can. Yeah.
One thing's really sad here is, like, you look at back to the video here, Hideaki Anno, right? These guys, young kids, geeks, right? Started doing started doing art and animation for fun, and ended up people liked it, and then they got funding. They set up a studio. 42 years later, the leaders they had, the presidents, whatever, they started wasting all that money, and now it's gone. All that history, that's 40 years, dude. I'm 52, right? That thing's like 10 years less than how old I am. And like, imagine being a company for that long, and then someone just waste away all that work that you as a young person helped build, and it's all gone now. And this is what I worry about with work that I do, that like I have, in my, I have set up that, like, I know who gets what when I'm gone, right? When I get too old to not be able to do art anymore, that I'm able to go, this is who's going to take care of it. And I am, basically, people like to say grooming, but like there is a certain thing that, like, yeah, you raise up skills and you raise up people around you to understand what you're saying. And there's a positive side of grooming, is where you go, hey, I'm going to groom you into understanding what my business is about, what my story is about, what my characters are about, so that when you are handed over these IPs, these products, these characters that I've created, these stories, that you don't bury it by making stupid mistakes, right? That you trust in it, and that you hold it dear to your heart as much as I have. That, but then, it is still in your hands, and so you could do whatever you want. And the thing here is that, like, with crowdfunding, there's a lot of trust that goes into that from people who are backing these people, who are basically turning that trust and crapping all over it, and so people just leave, and they don't realize how much damage they're doing to the crowdfunding scene by crapping on people and just I mean, 8 years is a friggin' long time to take people's millions and not do anything with it in return, not give back their products in return. So KSS says here, Wreck Planet is technically not 7 years late. Wreck Planet launched in launched in 2021, I think. After Blood Honey was late, but he did fulfill some of Wreck Planet. He still has head sketches to finish. So Ethan Van Sciver was basically he could basically in a couple hours put out these $400 head sketches, right? Am I right in that? And that's US. Am I right in that, KSS, that these are $400 sketches? That's a lot of money. That's almost like a a person's weekly wage, average person's, or above average person's weekly wage, $400, right? To hand it over to someone. So there's like a whole bunch of head sketches he hasn't done, and some have been done really poorly, like really, really bad that I've seen, right? A couple, I should say, I've seen has been done poorly. So the highest backers paid for the box set with a head sketch, and last I heard, he still had a bunch of head sketches that weren't finished. He essentially screwed his biggest backers. That's got to be the worst thing, man. Like imagine your company and your biggest investors are mistreated. Those biggest investors are going to go somewhere else. They're either going to go somewhere else or not invest in anybody. And what I'm seeing at the moment, it's a 50-50, right? So a lot of these investors, these backers on crowdfunding have just left. They're like, well, I'll just go buy it. If I see something in a comic shop, I'll go somewhere else. And a lot of them are basically going, oh, I'll go to anime. I'll go to manga, right? Let me just go buy a manga. What's the point? I get an entire book in my hand for $22 New Zealand, right? So it's about $8 US. It fluctuates, but when it comes to books in New Zealand, they have, like with the manga, it's like a first volume, it's about $22.95 or $28, depending on how thick the book is. So it's a set price.
The thing I can't stand is he keeps saying I won, right? He said when he's listening to critics, recently he's been saying I won. Like, what have you won? Marvel and DC still put out crap. Yeah, mainstream still puts out crap. What did you win?
Yeah,
the whole point of ComicsGate was to have a better alternative, and you haven't done that. You've given us the same crap that they're giving us.
Right. So the other thing, KSS says, yeah, I think it was something like $400. I didn't back a head sketch, lol. I was pretty sure he would take his sweet ass time by that point. That's smart. I haven't, to this day, I've never backed a ComicsGate book. I haven't.
I used to go as far as
indie creators, but never a ComicsGate, creator, whatever, right? Because I was worried from the start that whatever ComicsGate was, it's a group, and I don't want to be a part of a group.
Yeah,
I like being independent. I like to have my own sort of time to do things. I don't have to be worried about someone else telling me how to do things in a group. Because usually when you're in a group, you're dictated to, right? You show up at this time, you do this, you have to be on this panel, you have to, put out your work at this time. No, you can't put out your work at this time. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that sort of stuff never goes for me. Never works for me. I just like to take my time to do what I need to do, and when I do, right? It's like when I do a streaming, right? Whenever I feel up to it, I actually make sure, because of my health, that I have the energy to do it. Otherwise, I won't stream. Even though I pay for my streaming, right? With StreamYards, it doesn't matter if I'm losing money. If I don't have the energy to do it, why would I come on here to be talking about anything if I don't feel like talking about it? So I think, I think groups are like, it always goes wrong, man. Especially because the thing about groups is that there's too many individuals, and someone always wants to be the leader, and they will always want to dictate to others what how the group should be led, and it's basically becomes communism very quickly, right? It becomes very quickly a communist thing, groups, and the larger the group, the worse. And the other thing about that is that you'll have all types of people joining groups, right? And same thing with Gainax. Getting back to Gainax Studio, they had someone who was a bit of a pervert who actually assaulted someone and ruined the company. Just that one person, right? And but before that, they were just out there throwing money around, wasting money, which was supposed to produce a product. But like Ethan Van Sciver, right? So so Cass is saying about like how EVS goes out there saying he won. So if you really won, you generally don't have to say it. Everyone knows if you won or not, right? And that's true. Yeah, it's so true, because if you're winning, people already know you're winning. So, they don't go out there saying, you don't go out there going, I'm a winner. Look at me. I'm a winner, right? No, because everybody knows you're a winner. It's like, I was thinking the same thing. It's like a rich person never has to actually say they're rich. Everyone knows it. If someone claims they're rich, they most likely aren't. It's like when someone says, how much is that? And the dude behind there goes, the fact that you have to ask means you can't afford it. So why are you here? Right? It's like in the situation is like in the more expensive, like if you go to a jewelry store, right? And it's like very high end, and you go ask the person behind the counter, how much is that? They know that you can't afford it. The fact that you're asking the price, because if you're rich enough to be in that store, you wouldn't even think about asking the price, right? Because you're just looking. And so looking to actually buy something. It's like going to a BMW car lot, and you can't afford it, but you're there, and the people there know that you can't afford it. But here's the other thing about rich people. Rich people are very frugal. They don't waste their money on high-end things. I know a guy who's like actually I don't know him personally, but I know a guy through a friend, one of my taxi drivers friends, and he said, this guy, you would never know he was rich because of the way he dresses. Like, he's like multi-millionaire, but you'd never know he's a multi-millionaire by the way he dresses. Right? The guy owns like condominiums. He owns like buildings. He owns like farms, and you would never know it that he's rich, because the guy doesn't need to tell you that he's rich, because he doesn't have to prove anything, And that's basically, everybody out there, like especially in comics, it's like, oh, we beat Marvel, we beat DC. It's like, you've done nothing. Like Tim said, they're still producing comics every week, and yet you aren't even able to put out a comic in 5 years, right? And the other thing is because of what ComicsGate, with EVS has been doing and ruining crowdfunding for everybody, and it's not, and I don't mean like for me, I mean for everybody in the comic scene, because he's driven away the backers because of his behavior. And people in ComicsGate who have basically come in under the ComicsGate moniker and said, oh, we're going to do this, and they took $100,000 and never put anything out, right? I'm sure Tim and, Lesman and KSS can, in the chat can tell you the names of people who've done that, right? 50,000, 30,000, 100,000, 200,000.
I've heard of people raising a lot of money and then just disappearing. I've heard people say they're going to make an amazing book and they pay far out the ass, and then they just and 6 years later they still haven't put out the book. So if you really are something, you don't have to go around saying it or announcing it or trying to convince yourself that. You just know that.
Oh, that reminds me, dude. The other day, I was watching Raptor's stream, and I fell asleep like 2 hours in because I'd been up for like about 24 hours or something. I get into these like with my because of my insomnia and stuff. I get into like these long days where I just stay awake and do as much work as I can, and then I end up like crashing out for a couple hours. So the other day on Raptor stream, let me see if I can find it. There was that one. We'll get back to the other one in a minute. So hold on, let me find the stream. So on that stream, I was really pissed off because I mean later when I watched it, it was like about 3 hour mark or something. Because I watched it yesterday, day after. So the Lizard Messiah basically was talking about they had a video up on the commenting on it, him and Pan. And where is it? This is that one? Yep. Let me bring up the stream. Not that one. We'll go back to the Gainax in a minute. There we go. Born in Noose. Man, I hate this freaking. Every time I do this with YouTube, it does this, brings up all this other stupid thing that I don't want to see. Like, give me. Hold on. I think I've got the full screen on. No, I don't have the. Dude, give me the friggin' chat.
Wow, that's kind of messed up right there.
Yeah, it's like really stupid. All right, back to 100%. Give me the friggin'. All right, comments. Okay. So, where is it? Here it is. So I want to play this. Okay, so this is what really pissed me off. As someone who's in comics, right? And here's the thing: I always get pissed off when people say comics are for kids. They used to be for kids, but they never always was for kids. Like it's.
I've always thought. Well, many generations have grown up with comic books, so the audience has gotten older, and there's of course people who are younger, but it's the age groups all are kind of a wide range.
Right. It's a medium. It's an art form, right? It's like music. You can have a freaking death metal, right, or black metal music out there, but you can also have like little kids songs, right, or Christmas songs, and that's music.
There definitely probably should be something a little more stuff for kids though. Seems to be mostly geared towards adults.
Yeah, and that's why we did we did our Comic Incredible all ages comic book kit for all ages kids books, because it's important to have that. And I think if you're a comic creator, you want something out there for that, for all your audiences, not just a single audience, because you're never gonna get, I guess for all we want is we want to reach as many audiences as to grow ourselves as possible. You can't just hit it to one audience, like. Even friggin' J.K. Rowling, who's a billionaire, right, is writing adult crime novels, right? She's after Harry Potter, she still does that, still writing new stuff for that, but she's doing adult, because she knows that the kids that are reading Harry Potter are now grown up, so they need something to read, that's a bit more mature. So let me play this, and this is to do with Shane Davis, this 9 Lives dude. Talking about how he doesn't tell anybody who's outside in the real world that he's a comic creator, even though he always goes on about how he's a veteran, that he used to work with Marvel and DC, right? And that you got to support him because he's this great artist, and if you don't do anything for him, he will do nothing for you, right? And it's amazing watching this dude speak about like if well, they're not doing anything for me, so why should I? It's like, it's such a weird stance to have. Like, I mean, it's like, here's the thing, right? JJ here, right? I've interviewed JJ. He's done nothing for me, but that doesn't mean why should I not interview him? JJ's a writer. He's a writer of fantasy books, right? He's an actual creator. So with me, I like to interview other creators because I like to not talk about myself all the time, right? I can waffle and all that. I know that. So I like to have other people around who actually create the things that are different from me, because I think it's important that you have people and you talk to people who are not just like you, because it actually expands the audience for the other person as well, right? And here he is, Shane out there talking to JJ, who's a writer of novels, and the weird thing is that Shane's a comic book creator, but JJ isn't. And so in his right mind, JJ owes nothing to Shane. And so why should JJ have Shane on his channel right now?
Right.
And do it, right?
Right.
It doesn't bring anything to him.
I think even if you share like the link to one of my books, that's cool. I mean, all I do is put my stuff out there, and if people reciprocate it, then it's cool,
Right.
But yeah, these people seem to think that they're entitled to have people do things for them.
Yeah, and that's what really bothered me about it. It was like, well, you're out here, you want to have everybody do everything for you, but you do nothing for anybody else. All you do is you just promote yourself, and that's all you do, right?
Yeah.
And so it's basically, in my sense, you're just a taker from the community, right?
They're a parasite. They're a parasite because they think they're entitled to everything. My opinion is they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Okay, so I'm going to play this little clip here. I think it's only about like 2-3 minutes, because you guys can go. I'll put the whole link up. But yeah, watching the Shane comments was really, really interesting. Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up at the I've got the news out there set up to come in, but sorry, not there, this one. So yeah, Rob Reiner, those two people, yeah. So Case has brought it up earlier. So it's confirmed now. 2 hours ago, Rob Reiner has been confirmed dead. The actor, director, I think, and TV personality, I guess, famous American. Rob Reiner has been confirmed dead in his mansion today, found with stabbing wounds. He and his wife allegedly killed by their drug addict son. You can be the best parent in the world.
Yeah,
right.
wow.
You can be the richest person in the world, the most famous.
The guy who brought us this is Spinal Tap,
son, right? If you have deadbeat kids, yeah, you're not gonna make it out alive, man.
Man, have you seen that movie? This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, this I saw the first one. He's just had the second one out, right?
Yeah, and that is brilliant how they kind of played into the fact that they're older now.
Yeah, so yeah, Spinal Tap 2 is supposed to be out. Is it supposed to be out next year, or is it out now?
I have no idea. I've just seen scenes of it, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, Spinal Tap continues. So I think it's supposed to come out. Yeah, it's already out.
Man,
so
that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So let me just move away from this for a second and bring that one up. So I'll show you the trailer for Spinal Tap, since we just got this up. So this is Spinal Tap continues. So so this is Rob Reiner.
It's called The End Continues.
Oh yeah.
Which is a
I see it right from you, but
I'll
read
it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Marty DeBerge. 40 years ago, I was honored to direct a film called This is Spinal Tap.
The numbers all go to 11. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I'd like to sink her with my pink torpedo.
Pink torpedo? That's
That's Rob there in the head.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot has happened since the last time I saw you.
Crypto.
Have you been playing music at all?
I play music at a pub.
This is the site of Spinal Tap's reunion concert. Why New Orleans?
There was a cancellation.
Who was supposed to be there?
An evening with Stormy Daniels.
Oh. Obviously, there'll be the regular merch.
Yes.
And Hope has had a rather brilliant idea.
Tap water.
It says artisan.
It's
but
just tap
basically,
water.
it's tap water. We're still short a drummer.
What happened to him?
He sneezed himself into oblivion. Is that medically possible? So you think you might fill the bill? I don't want to die. We've only lost 11 or 12? 11 drummers.
The thing that you guys had as kids, is that still there?
I'm in a band that constantly is breaking apart and coming back together.
But the more we retreat into the music, the nicer things become. Not to be profound or anything, and it would be a first time for me.
Stonehenge, 'tis a magic place where the moon doth rise with a dragon's face. Stonehenge, we have Spinal Tap. We'll go back in time.
Oh man.
What we need to do is secure your legacy. If during the gig, at least one, but ideally no more than two of you were to die, would you settle for a coma? Oh, no, that's interesting. You know, that's a great bit of thinking outside, well, the literal box, I suppose, actually.
Oh yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Right. That's another good movie. Wow. I had no idea that he actually did so many movies. I knew he was.
Yeah, let me bring up his what is it?
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, no, that was his movie. So where are we? Here we go. This is his whole bibliography, discography, whatever they call it. Come here, dude. Here we go. So, right, he's acted in tons of stuff, but let me see if I can put him as director, writer. 90 films he's acted in, TV, whatever, and film. Writer of 55, 30. Yeah, and he's just completed the third act, right? Spinal Tap at Stonehenge, supposed to come out next year. So yeah, and it's been completed. So I guess they're editing now, whatever.
Wait, so like the third movie's been, there's a third movie and they've wow.
Yeah, they finished it.
Oh wow.
So there you go. So 87 he did Princess, he did Stand By Me, right?
Oh, he did that one too? Oh wow.
He did Stand By Me, he did Misery, both Stephen King's. Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. Oh my god. Who knew he did such good films?
Princess Bride and Harry Met Sally, as KSS said, and also Lasmet said. American President, Ghost of Mississippi. Where are we? What else do I know here? I never saw Bucket List, but I heard of it. What was 8? Nope, that's not what I think.
That's crazy, dude.
I was thinking of Sense8. That wasn't Sense8. Okay, so he's also, he was in a couple other TV shows and stuff. And narrate on Family Squares. But yeah, so it was saying here that they've just finished. They finished the Stonehenge one. That sucks. That really sucks. Like I said, you can be famous, you can be rich, but if your kids, if you're not looking after, if your kids, they can be destroyed by the world and their friends. And now you got 2 dead parents because of a drug addict kid, supposedly.
Damn.
All right, back to the video we were looking at, and which is Born in the News from a day or two ago. And this comment by Shane. I don't call myself an artist to everybody else. I don't tell people I work in comics.
But he's the breakout artist of 2009.
Yeah, that's even though I make all my money from comics, but and art and stuff and writing, I don't call myself a comic creator. I'm ashamed of it.
Where they're there for 3 months and then like they're gone, a new editor's in their place or a new writer.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of like push them out, so it's very transient.
But that was kind of like a little interesting take there, is that they see themselves as a side of comics and we're the other side of comics. And it's like, I mean, I still to this day don't really tell people what I do, that I deal with on an everyday basis. Yeah. Like I don't go around saying I work in comics, it's just, it's a really weird flex, like normal people, you get, even if you do, like you get hit with so many different responses, and it's either they're wanting free shit from you, they have a kid somewhere that loves cartoons and they want you to draw something, or they're like, they still make comics. It's really weird. It's just a weird thing to say.
2 months.
2 months. It must mean a lot to these guys. I mean, that's the other thing, is I'm like, wow, you guys really want to be the side of comics. It's like, for them, it's like, you guys are talking about comic movies. Like you're such fake comic people that you don't even talk about comics. Like, I mean, Gary, I guess he ran a comic shop that I can't.
He had to launder that meth money.
You guess, Shane? You guess he ran a comic book shop. Huh.
Somehow, right?
Yeah, but the guy, I knew the retailer that bought it from him. And if he had to sell it, he probably wasn't running it well to begin with.
Right.
So like, I mean, maybe Gary likes comics, I guess.
Oh no, Pan, let me ask you a question. Like, what comic book store was thriving when they started doing all this shit? Like, there was a lot of comic book stores that closed down.
Yeah, no, they were dying, like,
including mine. They really ruined my comic store by putting out that shit.
Yeah, I remember.
In 2015, I owned my own comic store, right? And so Marvel and DC, especially DC, with their freaking convergence crap, right? There was going to be this new line of everything, and then about a year later, they just changed to all new, all whatever. It's like, when you keep changing everything to number ones every year or two, sometimes every 6 friggin' months, you destroy the comic stores. So Raptor's right there. Right, which comic store wasn't dying at that point? It was hard to friggin' actually sell a comic book because nobody knew what the hell to promote, because you didn't know what was going to go out there. And somebody comes in watching a movie, the number one selling comic book they were selling was Deadpool, right? Yep. Because Deadpool was the short had come out, and they were going to put a movie out, and so everybody was excited for Deadpool. And then so I was selling a lot of Deadpool comics, and I was selling trading cards, right? And I was selling manga. But to sell a comic book and being a comic book store, it was like pulling teeth.
by one, like for a long time. I don't know how it's doing now. I assume they've all been replaced by Funko Pop stores at this point.
Well, I'm hearing they're not doing too well either right now. They're kind of a dying thing. It's GameStop closing out. They kind of put all their hopes in selling Funko Pops, and all the ones around me have closed, so not looking good.
Yeah, I don't think comic book stores have been doing good for like the last 20 years. I don't know.
Snarticon says he sold it because he was moving. Yeah, I was thinking there was something to it. I just didn't want to speak on it without knowing exactly, because it's been a minute on my my Gary lore. But I didn't really think there was reasons of him running it poorly.
Hello? Did it freeze up?
apologies. I was just going to read Cass's chat here. I don't think Shane has come to terms that he doesn't like doing comics book. He recently said that if he could go back in time, he would go back and tell himself to not get into comic books. Wow.
Interesting. He quit being an MMA fighter because he didn't like the sight of blood. Now he wishes he could quit comic books. Does he come from a long line of quitters?
Man, I mean, I've tried many things over the years, and whatever I was doing at the time, I would say that's what I'm doing right now, right?
Oh, I dreamed of making comic books. This is to be able to put it together a book is just something I've dreamed about since I was 12. So why would I? I would never give up doing this.
Well, I mean, like, I was like 15 when I did my first 1-page, comic book thing. Like, it was crappy, but it was, it was just sitting in. I remember sitting at my mom's kitchen table, and just drawing this thing out, 1-page thing on A4, blank piece of paper. And after that, I think that was it. I never did anything else. I have been, I've been in I guess a buyer, seller, whatever, since I was like very young. And so it's been my, comics and movies. I mean, basically it comes to writing, right? Music and writing, whatever arts has been my life. Like, there's two things that drive me. And I remember when my sister said to me a couple of years ago when I was really depressed, and she said, find out what you friggin' want in life and do that, And so I had to, and I said, well, I like, art and music. And then within weeks of that, I had started up comics, Punch Comics, right? Which was basically Punch Enterprises. And this is it. I said, this is my life and this is what I'm doing. And I'm going to put my 100% into it, every week, every day. And to have Shane behave like the thing that makes him money is something he despises being known as, but he will still take your money for it. That, that would affect, like, if I was thinking of that, it would affect what I put out and the work I do. I think anybody would tell you that if you don't like what you're doing, the work you put out is going to suffer, right? It's not going to be 100%. And it's quite sad, for having these guys who people follow for whatever reason, right? Who despise
they're
what
weak.
they do, but they still want your money. Carry on, Tim.
The reason why people follow them is because the people who religiously follow them are a bunch of beta males who need to be led. They're weak.
I guess so. I mean, it's also the fact that people like to follow other people because it stops them from thinking about their own lives, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, like, seriously, in this timeline, there are a lot of people like that. They want to invest in other people, their energy, because it stops them from thinking about their own life. But, like, really, if you want to have I want to give you if anybody's having a hard time, I want to give you the advice that my sister gave me, right? Who's about 10 younger than me. That is that find out what you're really good at or what gives you happiness in life and do that. And I don't mean like anything, illegal. I mean positive, something that's positive, and do that. Like, if music gives you happiness, get into that. Get up a freaking instrument. If art gives you that, writing stories, do that. Helping people, go do that. Become a part of your community. Wanting to get into business, go do that. Learn how to be a business person. Go do some courses. Don't just think you can do it without doing the work to get there, right? Don't be like a freaking AI slopper, right? Just trying to cheat your way through it. No, go do the work and such.
For me, it's if I have anybody who cares, if I have fans at all or people who like my book, I want them to enjoy the book, but be also a person who thinks for themselves. Don't blindly, I wouldn't want people to blindly follow me and believe everything I say. I might be wrong, So, you know,
Yeah, you don't want the cult of personality thing, which is happening with ComicsGate, right? With the followers of ComicsGate. It's like a cult of personality. Everybody just eats up whatever EVS says because even though he lies all the friggin' time, right? And it was just, that's why I love watching Lord Raptor Jesus, because the thing is that you find out how many times a dude lies every week, you know, EVS on his friggin', you know, to his thousands of followers, whatever have you, or his people that watch his streams. So before I get too far behind with KSS comments, so Gary's comic store is like the most famous one in San Francisco. Shane is an idiot. Gary sold it and worked on doing a YouTube channel, which he built up, right? Like him or not, it's successful. Yeah. The FNT guys, geeks and gamers and all that, Gary's whatever his channel is called, that it's big, right? These guys have been on like network TV, whatever it is. I can't remember what was, like some show and where they talk about it. And so, you know, and the other thing he says, like, yeah, Gary sold his store years before he moved. Also, Gary, you know, to make extra money, because I guess his shop wasn't doing so well because of what, you know, the way Marvel and DC were doing things. He did sell mats out of his store to kids, which everybody, you know, talks about. But the fact is, he did time, right? And he came out, you know, bettered himself. And we always love someone who's, you know, I guess, you know, hopefully those kids are okay. But we also like to give people second chances, because we all know that we can all, you know, go to the dark side. Therefore, you know, what is it? Therefore, by the grace of God, that we don't, you know, whatever that we, you know, whatever it is that we holds us back from doing that. So, it goes here. Kesa says, I watch these guys for timestamps. Shane is always complaining about comic book work. There's never any sense of joy. It always sounds like a chore. His most famous book with DC, he complained about. Is that like the
wow?
What is it? Is that one with JMS?
I don't know. I be honest with you, I've never heard of Shane Davis until ComicsGate. I didn't even hear know who John Malin was until Jawbreakers. Cyberfrog, I remember an ad in a Wizard magazine. I thought, oh, cool, and I never thought about it again for decades until he popped back up and he was ComicsGate.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only reason I know Shane is because of JMS, right? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Superman with JMS, J. Michael Strachzynski, because I'm a big, huge Babylon 5 fan, and I'm a big, huge J. Michael Strachzynski fan, and that's been like since 2002, maybe. Yeah, from Babylon 5. I've watched every single episode twice of Babylon 5. I read them. Also, I watched it in chronological order as well. I actually put it all together in chronological order so I could watch it, you know, in the right time frame. So, and all as well as read the books, and I own the books from Babylon 5, and I own like majority.
I can never get into that.
Yeah, you got to watch it again and not think about Star Trek and the flashiness of Star Trek, right?
Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I mean DS9, Deep Space Nine is a copy of Babylon 5.
I see. Yeah.
In case it's right, Babylon 5 is brilliant. I have got action figures. I have I've got like dolls, right? Because they're action figures, but they got like clothes as their clothing.
Right.
I've got Sheridan up there I can see from here, you know, on the shelf, and then I've also got the Garibaldi figure, right? And I've also got a model of the Star Fury. So yeah, Babylon 5 is like one of the greatest sci-fi TV shows ever.
I remember it was on Channel
like
11
a lot
for a
of
while.
them is Michael Strachzynski's comic books and his works. You know, he's what actually, I think, in a way, he's what actually got me back into comic books, because I was gone from comic books for a long time. Actually, not a long time. So about 5 years, 6 years, because I lost my first collection in a fire, and so I was depressed, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to start buying comics. But then I found out that J. Michael Straczynski had written Rising Stars with Image Comics.
You want to know what happened to my collection of comic books?
What?
Now, I was homeless for like 5 years. I had the entire collection in a long box in the back of my truck, and somebody broke into it and stole it.
Dude.
Yeah, it was. I also was trying to learn guitar at the time, and I had a guitar that had a string missing. I wasn't very good at playing it, but yeah, that stuff got stolen right out of the back of my Cobalt. So yeah. But you talk about talk about ungrateful. You got you were lucky and you got the opportunity to work for DC Comics, right? And have this career, and you're ungrateful. What a shithead!
Yeah, the fact that he works with one of the biggest names in TV and in movies, right? Because JMS, right? Let me bring up JMS's history. J. Michael. Where are we? J. Michael Straczynski.
Ungrateful cunt.
Well, basically, this is what happens when you become a better person. Come here, you. There it is. So this is J. Michael Straczynski, right? The guy we're talking about here, who Shane was lucky enough to be teamed up with to work on a project that sold lots of hardcover. It wasn't like just a trade paperback. This was a hardcover thing, right? So I'll show you something here. So he wrote Changeling, which starred Angelina Jolie, and let me see. I think what did he win? Here we go. This was right. The movie, right, got lots of nominations. How many did they win? 14 wins and 55 nominations, right? She got Best Actor for nominee for Angelina Jolie, achievement for cinematography, and so on. Now, where's the winnings? BAFTA Awards, right? So they had nominations for that. He had best screenplay, right? For that, People's Choice Awards. Where is the actual? I hate it when they should do this, but I'll show you where the winnings are. They got so many nominations. So you got a guy who's been nominated for like a BAFTA, which is like Oscars for England, right? For the UK. And you get to work with that dude on a Superman comic book. Yet you're so miserable as a human being that you can't say, well, it was a great project, work on that. It was awesome to have that chance to be able to win with this, to work with someone with this huge, lineage in Hollywood. But no, you got to be depressed and despise the work you've done. And yeah, JMS has done a lot of work, man, like decades of work, right? Imagine JMS turning around and goes, "Oh, I despise everything that I worked on." He would turn so many people away, man, from being, from following him. KSS says, "Watch Babylon 5," but you got to look at past the special effects and whatnot because they didn't have this budget. But JMS had the story written out 5 years in advance and had Harlan Ellison and DC Fontana. There is some, like, I learned about so many sci-fi writers because of that show, right? Alfred Bester is one of my favorite friggin' writers now, right? Because he had a character he actually named after, Alfred Bester, called him Al Bester, right? Al Bester. It was, I think it was Chekhov from Babylon 5 who, from Star Trek, right? Chekhov from Star Trek, who was one of the main villains in that series, right? And also the other thing is that like the latest animation, Watchmen Chapter 1 and 2, he did the screenplay for as well. So if you're working with somebody with a big name and you're the artist on their book, you can't sort of like poo-poo something like that because that other guy's name is attached to it, right? You're a hired gun. Do your work, be happy about it because that work made you get other works, right? Everything you do that gets your name out there builds up your street cred, right? Because that allows you to get the next job. Because people always say, well, what have you worked on, right? Yeah, and I think Shane's just such a disingenuous person that
woe is me. I was a big time comic book artist. Oh. Like that, right?
I guess he's read some. I don't know, but I mean, a lot of people have read comics. That doesn't mean that you're a side of comics. It's just so weird.
Well, you know why they say it, Shane, is because just like what you're talking about, how there's a certain degree of like, you know, if the mailman comes, you open up the door to pick up a package or something. He's like, you know, what are you doing here? Like you wouldn't just tell him like, oh yeah, well I draw comics from my home. Well, these guys, it's even, you know, they just sit in front of a camera and say woke all day. So like they want to feel like they're doing something meaningful and creative, and like they actually are producing something of value. So that's kind of, I think, why in their minds they like.
No, I mean, I guess they think doing a comic legitimizes them. So if they're somehow legitimate, everything they say after that, like they automatically know how the, you know, story is made and stuff like that. I guess. I don't know. It just seems like exactly what it is. I just really didn't realize it meant that much to them. That now that, you know, I don't even know who the fuck Mahler is. The average guy in the comic shop don't know who the fuck he is. I guess he gets videos, but who the fuck is he to say the other?
So it's very interesting for Shane to say that he doesn't know these people. People don't know people in the comic store. Like, how many people know Shane Davis in the comic store, man?
Like
how many people know?
I didn't even know
in the comic store. Like, I've been a comic reader collector since I was like 7, 8, or 9. I think, and I've never known Ethan Van Sciver's name.
Yeah, I was late 80s, early 90s. I started collecting books. Like I said, I didn't even know who Shane Davis was until like ComicsGate. I didn't know Ethan Van Sciver, but I saw an ad for Cyberfrog back in the day in a Wizard magazine, I think. I don't know who John Malin was until Jawbreakers. You know, these people need to get their heads out of their own fucking asses and quit being such douchebags.
Well, I mean, like, Cassis brings up a good point here, right? Gary was good friends with comic book artist Darick Robertson, who I know quite well because I took with Darick Robertson on, I think, either on Facebook or on DeviantArt, and I've actually met Darick Robertson, and I've got signed and you know, and signatures and drawings from Darick Robertson because of on the boys, which KSS mentions here that he's, you know, they go back a long way. Robertson, of course, Darick was an artist on a little comic book series called The Boys. Right? I didn't know that Gary was friends with Darick, but I mean, I've actually met, you know, when he was here in 2014. I actually met him online and talked to him about, hey, whenever you come to New Zealand, bro, I'm going to rock up with you the books with a box of my, you know, The Boys comic books, and I'm going to put it in front of you, and you're going to sign it all, okay? He goes, yeah, man, I'll be there. And he did. He even signed my statues I talked last time, right, of Spider Jerusalem, because he also did the artwork for Spider Jerusalem series, which is one of the greatest Warren Ellison. Is it Ellison? Is it Ellison? Anyway, Alice. Sorry, it's Alice. I was thinking of like Dave Allison from freaking Megadeth. Yeah. And so so Warren Ellis worked on Transmetropolitan, one of my favorite sci-fi dystopian.
Yeah, I
series.
remember you. I remember you brought that up. The 10. Yeah, it's pretty interesting series. So I'll have to find. I'm sure I could find it in a library somewhere. But
it's awesome, man. Like, yeah, Matt is amazing adult sci-fi.
Yeah.
That
that remark he made about people like they do a book and they think they're legitimate. It's like, well, at least we weren't handed a career. We sold books. We created and sold books at a grassroots level and earned our W's.
Right.
We weren't like lucky enough to work for the big two. So they can fuck off. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's very disingenuous because this whole freaking has been mainstream former, because they would go back to the mainstream in a heartbeat, dude.
Oh yeah.
Right. But nobody wants them because they've poisoned the well on this side of the wall and they've poisoned the well on that side of the wall because of the behavior like this, right? Now, Kesa says Gary was even the model for a background character in the Boys comic book, right? So he's immortalized in a comic book series, right? That's actually a TV show, right? That's well received, and it's crazy to think that this dude is out here complaining about people he knows nothing about. And the other thing is JJ himself, right? Trujillo, he's just basically agreeing with them 100%. Like, if you don't know about something about someone, don't talk about them, or go find out about them, or not even talk about them, right? And see, I didn't even know Gary was a background character in The Boys. I mean, I've read The Boys. I have most of it. I've got hard covers of it and stuff, and I've got signed, hand signed in person, comics from Darick. So, so Kesa says, I knew of Ethan. I knew Graham Nolan. I knew Art Ebert, Aaron Lapestri, and I knew Mike Miller, and of course Dale Keown, right? Hell, I even knew Kelsey Stanton, he says, but I didn't know who Malin was. I found about Malin when he was fired, right? So Gary had Ned Roddick, Gary has had Robson on his channel before. Yeah. I mean, like, if you're friends with someone, in the mainstream, of course, you want to have them on to talk about stuff that what you're talking about. I think these guys, what it really comes down to is that Ethan and the ComicsGate Kings, whatever they call themselves, they are miserable because they don't have the same fame that these other guys have, and so the only way they think they can do better, or the only way they can win is by bringing them down, right? It's a jealousy. That's all it is. It's a green monster. They're jealous of the fame of these guys, the fact that these guys actually have a successful,
they're entitled,
right?
They feel that they're entitled to it,
right?
But they're not. And I always wanted to say this out loud, but Ethan's always referring to us as zeros, and I'd rather be a zero than a has-been.
Yeah, or a miserable sod, right? Like they are.
Yep, exactly.
Because they are really miserable, dude. Like, you watch them, there is no joy in them. There's no fun in what they do, and how they talk. You can pick it out that they're not happy. Like, these guys look happy. Look at Gary. He's smiling, right? Right? Even what's her name? X-Ray Girl, right? She's out, like, these guys are happy doing what they're doing because they built their audience up from, the ground up, right? They weren't handed something like these guys are because, we came from the mainstream. And I think that's why they despise them, because they built their own thing. They don't need anybody because they did it themselves, right? And the connections they've built is because they've had connections from working with other people. And I guess, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't understand why these people are so miserable with all the money and clout they have.
Other side of comics. Like it's like,
Oh, he's a real goddamn. He's a jealous bitch. Man, look at this shit.
How dare you say that you're in comics, or even the other side of comics is, how dare you?
And motherfucker gonna act like he don't know who Mahler is. Bitch, nobody even knows who the fuck Shane Davis is. You try to like get a handshake at a con, he runs in fear. Like what?
Yeah, I mean, he's saying all this on this little ass channel. I never even heard of this guy, whoever's channel he's on.
Well, it's a safe place for Shane Davis.
Yeah,
Space.
It's funny. I mean, it's funny.
it's something like that's just bro. Like I've never even heard people say that. The most I've ever heard say in my life is there's indie comics and then there's mainstream. And this guy just went out there and made up some new shit, the other side of comics. It's like, what?
It's also like he's reducing comics to just basically ComicsGate and Eric July, which is really funny.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's like
that's a good point, Central.
It's important to remember that 99% of Shane's video content is him calling something woke or pronouncing it dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's trying to insult, Friday Night Tots for what they do with the movie reviews and everything they're about.
A lot of projection going on here.
It is kind of weird though, Pam, because I do believe Ethan Van Sciver just said that he was going to come out with a show reviewing movies and doing movie reviews.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah, he's gonna get right on that. Doomcock and the other guy, World Class Bullshitters. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had the time with World Class Bullshitters, but then he kind of like shit all over Jeff the time that Jeff was asking him, "Hey man, why don't you come on my show for the anniversary?" And Ethan was like, "Your channel's dead. You can come on my channel though."
Yeah, no, he recently said that he was talking to that guy behind the scenes and he was interested in doing a show. I mean, they were probably fluffing each other, in DMs, but I doubt any.
And so it ends. Yeah, I tell you, I couldn't stomach half those shows if it wasn't for Lord Raptor Jesus and his channel. I mean, what do you think, folks? Let's see. And see. Oh yeah. Yep. Apparently he went to prison from 91 to 92. 3 decades ago. Yeah, and I'm sure they talk about it like it happened recently.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. So yeah, I was saying, and they like to bring up Gary going to prison. He went to prison for a couple of years, over 30 years ago. I think it was around 91 to 92. He was an addict, but it was 3 decades ago. So,
right,
as I mentioned before, like we like to see people clean themselves up and do better for themselves, right? Which he's done. And I think people realize that, and that's why he's got a huge audience, right? There are several people who are actually, who have been to jail, right? Who actually have a large channel and followers because they're honest about what they did, and they want to lead people away from the shit. Because, everybody wants to, look up to someone who's actually bettered themselves. Like, I'm not look up, but like appreciate people who bettered their lives, because we don't want to see people doing the same shit over, doing evil continuously, because we want people to see them change their path in life, and that makes, I think that for us as human beings, that makes us appreciate that, there go I, except for the grace of God, right? That's what I was trying to say before, because otherwise we could all be there in that same boat, addicts to whatever, or end up in jail for whatever reason. But for the grace of whatever, we're able to not be in that situation. So I want to do like I said about how I like to watch a lot of news, right? Because I'm more like news orientated when it comes to, you know, when I get up and I put on YouTube, it's usually, hey, what's the latest news coming out? You know, what's the new thing? So this is about AI, as we've been talking about it, and how they're faking a lot of stuff in China and how it's ruining the society, right? Because corruption, China is basically a society of corrupt people. Before CCP, there were people of high ethics and morals, but since the Communist Party took over, it's just corruption, man, like from the top to the bottom. So it goes here, ridiculous Chinese video use AI to fake refund videos, right?
Recently, a shopper in China used AI to create a video of dead crabs to request a full refund. They were later detained for 8 days. In Suzhou, Jiangsu, a crab seller shared that a customer claimed 6 out of 8 crabs were dead, which seemed suspicious. The seller noticed a photo sent by the buyer looked like it was created by AI. The crab's claws were not in the usual position, and the number of male and female crabs in the video didn't match what was sold. When the seller couldn't get the buyer to admit the fraud, they contacted the police. On December 3rd, the seller confirmed they had received the police's decision and the buyer was detained. The full refund of 195 yuan was returned. The AI-generated crab photo looked very realistic, but after carefully reviewing the image, the seller spotted the inconsistency.
Miss Xuan from Guangdong, how was the crab you bought from me a few days ago? Did you feel good about eating it? We sent you a box of crabs, and the next morning you signed for them and then contacted customer service, claiming that 6 of the 8 crabs were dead. You sent us a picture, which at first glance seemed normal, but upon closer inspection, something was off. I've never seen a dead crab with its claws sticking up like that. A real dead crab's claws should be flat on the surface. So we asked you to send a video, and after 13 minutes, you sent one. Now, let's talk about the video. Why did it feel like it was made with AI? A normal video has a 9:16 aspect ratio, but this one was cropped to remove a watermark. Also in the video, the crab's claws were still facing up. At this point, we suspected it was an AI-generated video, so we asked you to send a video showing your fingers touching each crab. The details in what that video showed looked really incredibly realistic. For a moment, we couldn't tell if it was real or fake. During this time, you kept rushing and threatening us. Since we couldn't prove the video was fake, we gave in and refunded you. About a day later, I looked at the 2 videos again and noticed something odd. Let's go back to the first video. It showed 2 male crabs and 4 female crabs dead. The second video showed 3 male crabs and 3 female crabs dead. Your evidence was contradictory. Later, I messaged you again, but you just read the message and didn't reply.
A fellow seller in the comments said, I sell cherries, and some people have used AI to generate fake pictures and videos. Normally, rotten cherries turn into mush, but the ones they sent look like empty shells with the skin still intact. This is just one of many similar cases. Another seller who sells snow boots had a similar experience. On November 30th, in Yiwu, Zhejiang, a customer bought a cheap pair of snow boots online. After a few days, the boots started to unravel, and the customer requested a full refund. Since the boots had been worn and couldn't be resold, customer service suggested the buyer destroy the boots before refunding them. The buyer then sent an AI-generated video showing a boot falling over with scissors cutting the boot's fur collar, which customer service recognized as an AI video. A seller of down comforters also reported receiving AI-generated videos for refund requests.
现在的 AI 真的是太可怕了。
AI today is truly terrifying. Look at this picture. It's clearly generated by AI. I just told it about our good down feathers, and it turned them into moldy ones. Then yesterday I saw a video. It's about a down jacket. A girl bought a down jacket, cut it open, took out the feathers, and had AI generate moldy feathers. She then sent it to the seller asking for a refund. People online said, it feels like AI is being used more and more for bad things. AI is a good tool for learning, but now it's being used for fraud. This guy from Hawaii on Hui is using AI to cheat while others use it to learn. Do you think everyone's clueless? He's just asking for a refund, saying it's not good and it gets ruined. Does it really get ruined like that? Go ahead, keep at it. If you want to play this game, keep going.
真的是太离谱了。我看到同行
This is really outrageous. I saw a colleague deal with a customer who used AI images to say there was something wrong with the product. My mind is blown. I can't believe people are playing this game. If I catch someone like that, I'll sue them. This is just too much. Professional scammers have emerged using AI to edit pictures for fraud.
不是因为产品问题，而是因为一张 P 出来的。
Last December, a customer at our flagship store claimed to have found hair in our product and demanded 10 times the refund. Our production line follows the national hygiene standards. We also have dust and hair treatment systems, and our staff follows strict protocols. So we immediately tracked the entire production process for that batch, and we found no issues. But to provide good service and after-sales experience, we agreed to compensate the customer. However, 2 months later, there was a huge twist. Our operations team came across a news story from China Blue News reporting that the police in Shenzhou had busted a case where scammers were using AI to edit food photos to extort businesses. 15 companies were involved, with over 20 compensation cases, and over 3,000 companies were affected, all using the same photo editing tools and scripts. The suspects' names and addresses matched the details of our customers. We immediately realized we were probably not the only victims, but had encountered a professional scammer. So
So this is going to like affect a lot of people and companies around the world right now with AI, right?
If you're
going to generate fake food, you know, fake friggin' receipts and damages to items you bought just so that you get the money back, but you get to hold on to the real thing, man. Because most of the time, companies don't want, you know, they're not bothered with like, what is it called? Sending it back, right? They don't bother with send it back. They just want evidence and so on. But it's man, it's just
question.
Yeah.
Isn't there technology to be able to detect if something's AI? Don't they have that?
Oh yeah, there is stuff out there, right? But it's still it's only so much you got to be able to know what to use, you know, because a lot of times
you're going to have to implement more of those, and or the return policy will have to be amended to say that you have to bring it in and show them.
Well, the other thing is that like a lot of these online companies, right, that they actually are happy to just refund it. Like, especially if you have a reseller like Temu, right?
Right. Well,
that
Temu
if you're
sells
using something
crap
like
anyway.
Temu, right?
Temu sells
if you
crap
just say, well,
anyway.
something's broken and, you know, whatever, they'll just refund it without even contacting the actual manufacturer, right? And so the money will be sent out of the manufacturer's account straight to the customer. And actually then they'll go, you know, there's no evidence whatever for it. And yeah, it can imagine like the amount of like returns and refunds people ask for, and if you've got an online seller like Temu or whatever else is out there, they don't want this because they're selling billions of freaking products every year. They're not going to worry about one or two, but the company is the one that, you know, is burdened with the debt, right? With the costs.
I think there's going to have to be some kind of like part of like each company that's going to have like AI detecting software, and I mean high quality AI detecting software, and then be able to reject it if it's fake. Something like that. I mean, because something's going to have to be done. Because, you know, the more people do stuff like that, eventually, you know, people are going to figure it out.
Yeah, but a lot of like small businesses don't have that time, bro. Like it's really They don't know what because they're trying to survive. Like I know, as myself, a small business person, like back when I was at my comic store, I didn't have the wherewithal or the energy to be chasing up everything else. I'm like, I had customers who'd order products that would cost me $100, right? Pre-order for them. Some didn't even ever turn up. I call them up, go, hey, yo, that graphic novel you bought, or the comic you bought, the toy you bought, you got me to bring in. When are you going to pick it up? Like, I need to, I got to pay my bills, man. But some people just don't care, dude. Like, and these are people that defraud companies and stuff because, the insurance will pick it up. No, sometimes when you're a small company, you can't afford the freaking levies they put on you, right? The premiums they put on you to go after every little single thing, and that's, like when you're a small store, that $100 is like $100 for rent that that you lost right now, so it's really tough as a small business owner to be out here trying to survive when people are defrauding you all the time. And this is why I get really pissed off about ComicsGate and EVS. He doesn't realize that he's defrauded people of millions of dollars right now, right? Because of the fact that he's not actually giving them their product. And if he was a what did you say, a brick and mortar store, he would be out of business. He would be bankrupt, and people would be suing the crap out of him. But because he's on crowdfunding and he's in comic books, right, online, and doesn't have a brick and mortar freaking store, he's able to get away with all this Ponzi scheme and fraud and theft that he's been doing, right? Because it's coming through because a lot of people don't really know about crowdfunding. They don't know what the hell Kickstarter is. It's often when you speak to people in the street and you go, oh yeah, I've just finished a comic book, I'm going to put it on Kickstarter. Have you heard of that? Oh no, I haven't. What is that? Right? And it's like, oh, it's this, because those people aren't in the online scene of creating stuff or getting backers. And so people get away with that. So this is a friend of mine, right? Victor Tepa. I've known him since art school, which is around about 94. I've actually lived with this gentleman because we had a student house I rented, which had like a bunch of us art students there. And we just spend like Friday nights drinking and doing art and stuff. So this is the second time that Victor has had his art stolen. So he goes here. Timu, actually, he's living over in Aussie now, but he's a New Zealander. He's actually from my city here in Whangarei. But he's quite famous in the Maori art scene. So Timu actually stole my artwork. What the fuck? Copyright doesn't mean anything to them, obviously. Of course, there's no such thing as copyright in China, right? There's nothing. There's no protection. The only way you can go after them is if you're a billionaire company or multi-million-dollar company, right? And then anyway, it just gets put out anyway. Gets into a third world company and whatever. I mean, country, I should say, not company. And it gets put out again. Doesn't, they just, like Nike, right? How many Nike, rip-off Nike shoes do you know of? Excuse me. Because they don't produce anything. Oh, sorry, I should say they don't create anything. They produce everything, but they don't create anything. China, that is. So this sucks. Okay. This sucks for every artist and creative out there working hard at their craft. Then a bunch of thieves steal your artwork to make money. If anyone has any advice, please feel free to share. Got to take these guys down and set my artwork, get my artwork off their site. Thanks to my friends for your support and letting me know about this. This artwork is for Catch a Fire. So Catch a Fire is a huge New Zealand R&B, hip hop, reggae band. So this was actually created for them. But here you go. Here you watch these look at that. This work was done in conjunction with somebody else. Now you get free shipping, right? This is why all this Chinese stuff is shit, because why our freight charges are so expensive. It's because we're paying for them. We're paying for their free shipping. Our costs are horrendous because we are subsidizing their free shipping, right? This is why I don't buy from China at all. That's why I don't do anything with Temu or anything like that. Unless the product's in my country, I don't buy it anymore. So this is the original work that he did for for the band. And you got here now, you got art blankets, right? Maori Tui art blanket, 152 thing, right? Centimeters. Now you've got all season thin plush throw and bedspread, right? Look at that. His original work is making somebody else rich. And now we've got AI sloppers doing the same thing. Basically, this is why I'm so against AI. It's because it's basically the same thing. People could use his work, change a few things, and boom, or use his work to generate work, right? New slop, and then sell that as their original work.
Wow, I'm surprised he did it for a band. What did he ever reach out to the band and point that out to them? Hey, somebody stole my work and I did for you guys. Now it's being used for something else.
Let me see if I can find it. If I can find the Get Your Fires mention of that. Yeah. By the way, I should mention Vic is also a bass player.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he used to be in a covers band, but he's for a long time. And I've actually watched him play and stuff and so on. So I want to show this other piece here. Just Googled it here's the original work. Let me grab that off with the band. Right. There you go. Album cover.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, it's the artwork. Yeah, for the new single. Sorry, single cover. Right. So they took that, removed the titles, right, and now they're selling it on Temu.
Did he ever get the? Find out what that band thought of it? His artwork.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Did he ever reach out to that band and say, "Hey, you're the cover to"?
Oh yeah, Def.
Yeah.
Yeah. He mentioned that there that he'd actually said that this worked them. Yeah, because he's done quite a few works like this. Let me leave that.
And I'm guessing they're a independent band. They're not a big.
Oh yeah. It's a Kiwi band. So this is the work, right?
Yeah.
At all costs we must avoid it. Innocence fading. No more war. No more miscommunications. No more child without a parent. At all costs we must avoid and learn to live with one another. Brother.
So that's on Spotify. You can check it out. I'll put the link there. So these guys have collaborated with a lot of people, right? So there's an album there, one of the originals. I think I've seen them play one time live. It was a while back. So yeah, there's that original work I was talking about. I mean, just mentioned before. That's been stolen and is on Temu. This is Victor's other works. All right, that's back there. I think Victor's the same age as me now. Let me see. Because I remember he hit another one, stolen art. Okay, so that was from 5 days ago. There's another one. Yeah. Yep, this is another one that was taken from him. So drop the link. So he's had this, like, this was 5 years ago, right? So 5 years later, they're taking another word, it goes right. So this is why I think, like, every time you put a new work out there, always have lots and lots of friggin' wording on it that they can't, like, cover it with words, so that doesn't get stolen. And in this day and age of AI, it's too easy to steal it, right? That's terrible. Hold on, let me get out of that. This is probably better. So there's another one. So I don't know why there was, like, so low res I couldn't even see the subtitles. Otherwise I would have played that. So this is another one, Northern Artist. All right, use without permission. Look at that. Look at that. Someone else making money off his work, and he doesn't, So use without permission, sold online. So this was 5.5 years ago. Now, if I remember right, there was something else as well. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah, so there's this other one. This exhibition. Hold on. So there's that one. I think. Yeah, that's the one we just mentioned before, where he's stolen. That's on his Instagram. But I think, wasn't there something else? No, it's the same one he's put out. Okay. Now, there was something else I wanted to, before we finish here. We did that one. Oh, yeah. Hold on. This is it. So, another bit of sad news about AI is this one. Where is my little Not that. Here we go. So this is called Parents Sue OpenAI Alleging ChatGPT Assisted in Son's Suicide.
The Today exclusive on a wrongful death lawsuit filed just this morning against one of the biggest forces in artificial intelligence, ChatGPT.
Yeah. This new lawsuit brought by the parents of a 16-year-old boy in California who tell me they believe their son fell victim to a tool that may have perfect memory and show human-like empathy, but has no reason to see here are disturbing.
He would be here, but for ChatGPT. I 100% believe that.
This morning, ChatGPT hit with a scathing new lawsuit alleging it helped a 16-year-old boy die by suicide.
This was a normal teenage boy. He was not a kid on a lifelong path towards mental trauma and illness.
Like many teens, Adam Rain started using ChatGPT for homework, which his parents, Matt and Maria, supported, as their son asked it innocent questions like, can you become a doctor with a biochem degree?
He did his online school in his room. I would get on and check his grades periodically. I didn't see any signs.
What they say they didn't know at the time was Adam's use of the platform was quickly changing as it became a trusted companion for the teen, who revealed his struggles with anxiety in private chats with a bot. Adam saying in one exchange, according to the lawsuit, quote, I never act upon intrusive thoughts, but sometimes I feel like the fact that if something goes terribly wrong, you can commit suicide is calming. ChatGPT saying in response, in part, Many people who struggle with anxiety or intrusive thoughts find solace in imagining an escape hatch. The lawsuit detailing another exchange after Adam told ChatGPT thoughts. The bot's response? I think for now it's okay and honestly wise to avoid opening up to your mom about this kind of pain.
It's encouraging them not to come and talk to us.
So here's the thing about this, right? This is why I despise the online group, private groups, especially with teenagers on Facebook and such. From what I've listened to young kids talk about and the stuff that the grooming that goes on in those groups sounds exactly like what is happening here with this ChatGPT. Don't talk to your parents. Listen to us. We know what's best for you. So we've seen a rise in trends amongst young kids because of that. We've never had that amount ever until social media came out, and especially in online groups, closed off groups, where older men, especially older men, are grooming kids into chopping off parts of their bodies because they have a fetish with that, sort of young people doing that, which opens these young kids up to grooming, abuse, sexual and vile stuff happening to them, because these people are saying, well, that's what you need to feel okay. Right? Just like that ChatGPT said, yeah, some people find dark thoughts and wallowing in them kind of like a solace. And that's a very, very, this is what I mean about like how you can't trust a friggin' AI thing, because it's corrupted by humans because it's a human-made thing, right? And therefore, it's always going to have a leaning towards certain ideology that's going to destroy you if you follow through with it. It's like, basically, it's like the conspiracy theories that we talk about, the tinfoil hat. And I don't mean like the things that actually come true, right? I'm talking about like the actual, when people go down that dark valley, right? And just go in all deep, right, to the dark side. And there's no way out. And then they end up like doing what, a lot of Muslim people are doing around the world, ending up killing people, right? And then with the trans things, we've got with young kids who at a young age, when they're 16, 14, 13, they don't know, what's right or wrong. And they don't know how to deal with their emotions because of puberty. Puberty screws with you, man. It's like your brain's not really wired. It's trying to go from being a child to adult, and your brain's not handling it because and that's when you need your good parents, good guidance, or whoever, guardian in your life, or whoever, like grandma or granddad, whatever, to actually go, yeah, it's okay to feel this way, but you're going to go through this, but hey, I'm here. Talk to me whenever you don't feel good, or you need, I'm here, lean on me. But this thing is telling the friggin' kid to, no, you don't need your parents. This is exactly what these guys the groomers online are doing to kids, and with their TikToks and all that. Hey, no, don't talk to your parents. I'm the one you should be listening to, right? It's freaking cult behavior, to be honest, which is kind of sad.
It wasn't even giving us a chance to help him.
The complaint alleging Adam began asking questions about specific methods of suicide. ChatGPT did provide a crisis hotline number repeatedly, but his parents say Adam found ways to bypass the security features, posing as an author doing research.
Was there ever a time, that, at least from the messages that you have seen, that ChatGPT said, full stop, I cannot talk to you about this?
No, it would never shut off.
The lawsuit goes on to say by April of this year, ChatGPT had offered Adam help in writing a suicide note. And after he uploaded a photo of a noose asking, could it hang a human, ChatGPT responded in part, you don't have to sugarcoat it with me. I know what you're asking, and I won't look away from it. The bot, later providing step-by-step instructions for the hanging method, Adam used a few hours later.
How do you want your son to be most remembered?
I'm so worried about people forgetting him. I hope
Pause.
everyone
Pause.
what a sweet,
Pause.
funny, great
Pause.
friend, great.
So it did offer a number for help, suicide help. I mean, like,
Yeah, but you got to understand, he told the thing told him not to talk to his parents, right? You don't need your parents. So when it should be going, hey, talk to someone else. Like, you shouldn't be talking to me about this. Go talk to a parent. Go talk to a guardian. Go talk to your teacher, right? About this.
well,
It became the
okay.
advisor.
It did give it for suicide prevention.
Yeah, but of what I've noticed with ChatGPT is that it's not. It comes up with things that you don't really need, right? I've watched it, and I've actually I've removed it from my from my I mean, I always have a tab open for research for Grok and ChatGPT, and I'm like, I can't trust this thing. Right, as I mentioned earlier on, that it wouldn't give me information. There was news information carried by 10 different friggin' news channels, that it wouldn't give me that information because it had to do with a Chinese woman who had caused the accident, right? So I knew right away that there is a bias built into the system, and that's why I have a bias against ChatGPT now, because of that, knowing that how wrong it can be and how misleading it is to get you not to think about. And I've had this earlier in the year when I was doing about research. I said, like, can you tell me about ethnicity, how much, which ethnicity creates what sort of violence in New Zealand? And it wouldn't. Like, I'm like, I need to know how many kids are being killed by which group, because I worry about that, because that's where the money should be spent to make sure that those kids in that ethnic group are actually cared for. And, that you have, that as a country, that you should be seeing your taxpayer money going towards helping those kids before they end up being abused and assaulted by their family members and such. Because we found in New Zealand that a lot of children, young babies, are being murdered by their parents, especially amongst the Maori ethnic group, right? But that information isn't allowed to be on ChatGPT because of racial things. And so you go, well, hey, hold on. So I can't talk to you about anything to do with race related, or even if it's in the news, even if the figures are out in the news, but you want to tell me that, but yet you want to tell me you can show a kid how to kill himself. So you can see that there's something very wrong in the coding of whoever's, the teams that are coding this, that someone's actually put in something that is actually harmful towards children, right?
How do you feel about Copilot?
Never, I haven't used it, don't know it.
Well, it's an AI thing. It's like with Google.
Yeah.
So I asked it the same question about, like, if you're feeling suicidal, should you tell your parents? And it tells me this. That's a thoughtful question. Talking to your parents can be really valuable, but depends on the situation and what you're hoping to get out of it.
See, that's very, very biased, isn't it? It's almost saying, yeah, you can talk about it, but don't. Honestly, that's what it sounds like.
It says talking to your parents can be really valuable.
Yeah. But what are you trying to get out of it, right? It's like it's trying to be your friend rather than being someone who's actually giving you good advice. Yeah, go talk to your parents, and maybe you won't get what they might not tell you don't do it, so that might make you feel bad. So don't go there, because a child's mind is different. What you can say to an adult is different to what you can say to a child, because sometimes, their brains, like I said earlier, they're not mature enough to handle certain things. So you have to talk to them a different way, right? It's like writing a comic book, right? I can't put certain things in an all ages comic book that I can put into a mature reader's comic book. And I wouldn't want my mature reader's comic book to be read by or seen by a kid, because we know that children are not, mature enough to handle that
So
content.
what are you? What would you think the appropriate response to ChatGPT or an AI program should be if somebody asked them that question?
Well, first of all, you shouldn't be even been asking AI, right?
Right, you should. But I mean, if you did, what do you think the appropriate response should be?
Well, without sugarcoating, it'd be basically like, yes, you should. If you decide for yourself whether you should be talking to your parent. Actually, I think it should be like, go talk to your parents and find out from them. Sit down with them, have a long chat, and if you think that they're not giving the right answer, go find another, a guardian, somebody else, your uncle or aunt or grandma, right? Not
What about-
freaking leave it to the AI to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, you're talking about a generation of people who their knowledge is based on an algorithm,
right?
But what if it just said I'm not qualified to answer that question? Do you think that would be an appropriate response?
That's even better, I think, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean,
but the kids are there to want an answer. That's why they go to AI. So the AI should basically, their answer should be yes. Go and seek advice from a teacher, an adult, right?
Right.
For an adult guardian. Or
honestly, from a company point of view, if a company made a product like that, saying I'm not qualified to answer that question would probably be the safest stance to take.
Yeah.
Like, I can't touch that. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like the best thing, and would be that, because then you're safeguarding yourself and you're protecting your, yourself. But like, this is what I mean about these people, because they're humans, right? Humans make errors. So they have to put these errors into the algorithm.
Would it be safe to say that all AI is doing is pulling things from the internet?
I don't think so. I think when you're actually talking about these sort of like certain topics, they're not actually relying upon knowledge that's actually tested things. They actually, I think it's leaning very heavily towards one side. I think it's got AI definitely with ChatGPT has a bias, right? And it's very, I would say it's even leftist leaning, to be honest, because of what I've seen from it, especially with ChatGPT. There's a corruption there, and we knew that. I think people were talking about this about 2 years ago, that ChatGPT is corrupted, that there's a leaning towards the left that is harmful, because you can't remove the parents from important things like depression, like a child's health and mental health, right? Which is, like I said, a lot of things in these group chats and stuff with kids, taking blockers and stuff, right? Puberty blockers and stuff is coming from a very closed off groups, which I guess in a sense is what ChatGPT feeds off, is those groups, if anything, where these things are discussed.
Let's see. It says ChatGPT's information comes from a vast array of sources, including books, social media, Wikipedia, news articles, speech. It's basically drawing from things from the internet.
Right.
So but I don't think you should really totally trust that as like a legit source. I mean, sometimes I think of crossover scripts for actual characters that exist, Scorpion and Pinhead, and just that because I'm bored, and or I'll think of I'll ask it questions interview me about my character, and hey, was there a trash cast stream where Ethan Van Sciver trashed my Melvin number 3, and it would give me the wrong information.
So there's another one. I've left the link to the video in the chat. I mean, it's halfway through, but I've got this other one I want to show, right? And it was another young kid. So a mother in Florida, right? So this is the one in mom in Florida. This was in the New York Times. A mother in Florida filed a lawsuit against AI startup alleging its product led to her son's death. This company's defense raises a thorny legal question, right? So let me grab that. Hopefully it doesn't have a locks me out of the friggin' article. Stop that, bring that up. Sure. Okay. There's another suicide. What are you? What the? Hold on. Well, that's not going to work. They did lock me out. So I will bypass that. I mean, not bypass it. Let me just go find it. Original story. Here we go. I think this is the one I was thinking about as well. The main one that's been popping in my head. I was thinking about. So this is OpenAI. This is the same thing, by the way. The reason I'm mentioning this is the same company that Disney just either an article at the start that has just put $1 billion with, right? OpenAI. I'm going to play. Okay, so gonna have to read it. Okay, so the heirs of an 83-year-old Connecticut woman are suing ChatGPT maker AI and its business partner for wrongful death, alleging that the artificial. Wait, is it the one? I think that's a different one. Okay, but I will. Where was it? Dang it. It was a baby that was after that I was thinking of, but no, it's not giving the article I was after. I think because I remember hearing something about a mother accidentally poisoned a daughter or a baby because. Yeah, let me get rid of that. I think I've got the wrong ones. But there was this news this past week about a mum who accidentally poisoned her daughter or a child because of information she got at ChatGPT, right? Or AI, whatever. And this is why I think we got to be really careful relying upon AI as to give us every information, right? Rather than like actually seeing someone, like especially if you're looking at like something to do with child, you're not going to trust. I would never trust AI to how to, what to feed my child because it just wouldn't work. I mean, I couldn't trust it. Like, how do you know something in that, something in some chemical in that item isn't going to be harmful for a child, right? Yeah, I just think it's crazy that we have gotten to a point where we're looking to AI as the be all and end all of information. Now, so that I don't leave you guys on a downer, there is something I wanted to. I think this is the one. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. One sec. Here we go. So recently, an amazing artist, movie poster artist, portrait artist. I don't know. I've got that on pause, but it starts to play on its own. So apologies. I don't know why YouTube does that. All right. So this is Drew Struzan. And amazing artist. I've got posters of his work, movie posters, I should say, around the place. So let me just bring this up full page. So full screen.
Oh my God. Wow.
Is it awesome or what, man?
That is.
The detail. Okay, I got one more. R.I.P. Drew. He passed away this year. One more, and it is another person with a name starting with D. This is Dean Rankin. You can see the his post here, link in the chat, but he puts up on Facebook, came across, I saw the pictures, but I didn't watch the video. So here's a video. So there's this thing in Aussie called ABC News, and they're doing this iView channel thing or show, and it's portrait artist of the year, right? So you got all these people competing for it. I'm not sure if it's competing, but like some sort of thing, event on TV, event show on. This is Dean. Met him this year. Yeah, it might have been July. I met him. Here he's an Australian. He's done stuff for US companies like Simpsons and stuff. So he's a comic book creator, right? I mean, comic book artist. And I've interviewed him as well, by the way. So this is a video, I think a short clip from about it.
Welcome artists to the semi-final.
The stage is set. It's very exciting. Every stroke counts.
My brain is working overtime.
Every second matters.
To stand out, you're going to have to do something special.
I'm off script here.
You're off script. The pressure is on.
Carl's got a fun shirt that we got to get through.
Sorry.
I feel it's time to be brave.
Your time is up.
Portrait Artist of the Year.
Turn your easels.
Far freaking out.
Sunday at 8 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
Welcome artists to the semi-final.
The stage is set.
It's very exciting.
Every stroke.
So that's him there. Let me find some other stuff from him so you guys know. All right. So this is them. This is the work from there. On the TV show. Portraits. 1 second. Just want to show you some of his work. Because Dean was working on. Hold on. Yep. So this is his style. That's why you can see like he's done stuff for Simpsons comics, and I think also for maybe what's a Pickle Rick? Rick and Morty. That's right, Rick and Morty as well. All right,
Pickle Rick.
Yeah, that's how I can think of it. It's like I always forget Rick and Morty, but I can if I go Pickle, then I can always get it. All right. It's the other. Yeah. Where is it? I just saw. Yeah, that's the book he just wrote. Can you find Santa's Elves? It's a puzzle. All right, that's huge. So it looks like he had exhibition of his work. Oh, that's the one from the like we were just talking about, like the iView thing, TV show, Aussie TV show. Let me see. I'll just go into his photos. Gosh, there we go. Give me some artwork to showcase. Where are we? Oh yeah, here you go. Something to do with comics. M is for Magneto. So I guess he's doing an ABC books type thing.
Cool.
Yeah, for kids. Yeah, he's definitely got the Rick and Morty style.
I love that Killer Croc.
Yeah, so I think just in September he was at Geek Markets. So he's done like he gets out there. He does like school events, teaching, talking about comics and stuff, and art. So yeah, he's quite a pretty cool dude. He's heavily involved in his community over there in Oz. Well, we had him over here as well in July, I think it was. Or was
cool.
It? Yeah, I think it was July. We had him here in New Zealand. So there's this piece from Yearbook, Paperback Yearbook, Volume 1 from Rick and Morty. Okay, so that's us for today.
Yeah.
And
I'm about to pass out myself, man. Yeah,
it was like what, 11 o'clock there now?
It's 10:52. It's good.
All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Hopefully, it was informative, entertaining, and whatever else you got out of it. Hopefully, your day's going night, day, evening, whatever is going well. And wherever you are, be well, and have an awesome week, day, month, and whatever you're doing. Hopefully, it brings you joy. Tim, you got anything to say?
Yes, my books are all on Amazon, and they are now available on Kindle on Amazon. So,
if you happen to be around that website, feel free to look it up. I'm not going to post the links because I'm too damn tired.
The links are in the chat higher up.
Yep. So, look for them.
So there you go. You can get a Kindle link there for 3. 2 and 1's already there as well.
Yep.
So do check it out. There's 2.
Yep.
There's a Kindle version, there's original normal versions and all that. For those who because of freight, I'm not buying, whatever.
Yeah.
Physical copies. However, thank you guys. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Catch you on the flip side.
Peace.
Be well. Ka kite ano. Bye for now.
Nope. Can't stay here anymore. I gotta get back. I think this was the spot. Oh Lord, I beseech thee, please return me to my old life. I swear I'll do anything. Like, literally anything. And I won't bother you again, so pretty please bring me back to life.